And if she's in the chat, you know how it. Everybody comes for near and far for mom's iced tea. It is to die for. And she doesn't sweeten it too much, but it has that just a hint of domino sugar, and
Too much.
it's brewed. It's brewed, so it's not like the nest tea. I don't like nest tea. Mm.
You don't like Nestea?
No, no.
It's American tea for sure. It's white boy tea, as some.
Yeah.
So.
It's an acquired taste. Wolfie, let's see what we got on the docket today as I get into the thick of things. The news floating all around, Wolfie. We couldn't get by without some receiver drama, some receiver.
We were this close.
We would just
this close. We almost made it the offseason without wide receiver issues. This close, man.
Just a bit outside. Ball 8. That's from Major League, at which Wolfie don't like it. We'll talk about some Juan Jennings clutch points throughout a hypothetical trade they said was absolutely perfect. We're going to talk a little ESPN in terms of their QB lists, ranking their QBs. I got some Alibi Fire I will address, and we're going to kick it with the AFC East. Goats. That's on the docket for today. Let's start off with Juan Jennings, ladies and gentlemen. Wolf, I got the news. What I guess, like everybody else, I guess it was yesterday. That's what everybody started talking about, that he is either demanding a trade or you start upping my pay. And I figured this was going to happen next year, but not this year, because he's coming up on the deal. I think he restructured, extended, or something. It's like a 2-year deal, and I thought he'd give us a little grace on this one. But hey, man, no better time than the present. He must be looking at it a certain way. What's your thoughts?
So it was like it's really hard to explain this. Like, I'm not surprised, because there was like a precursor during training camp where I don't know if they relate to the situation or not, but not training camp, but during OTAs, he was there the first day, and then like the next day he wasn't there for some reason, and the 49ers did not disclose why. He just wasn't there. So I have assumptions of what may have occurred. Is he comes back day one, shows off how good he is, because he had a phenomenal OTAs, he had a phenomenal camp. He was one of the studs that was coming out of camp, how good he was doing against Lenore, Green, and all that. It was just a good job. So he probably, was like, yeah, I'm doing so good. And the agent was like, yeah, you look really great, and you were great last year. You didn't have 1,000 yards, but you're clutch and stuff like that. So, you show a lot of heart. There's a lot of things I can say about the guy, but there's a lot of things that the agent probably told him and said, hey, maybe you can get some more money and things of that nature. And so that's probably why he wasn't at OTAs, because he wasn't injured. There was no reason to disclose why.
Didn't hear anything about that.
I think that it's a little like, okay, you signed a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So you just got a deal last year, and it doesn't help the fact that with Deebo Samuel, I believe he signs a deal like a year in the offseason and then wants to trade, literally at the end of the year, then wants to trade. So like it kind of gives this precursor that, hey, the next year things can change and you can ask for a trade, or you could want a new contract or whatever. Because if you sign a deal last year that's 2 years, you think you'd live up those 2 years and just be like, hey, $7.5 million, less than 1,000 yards. This is kind of something, you would carry for the next 2 years. And then when you go into free agency the next year, get whatever bag you can. Don't come back if you don't want to. If you can't get the contract you can get, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it'll help your case to not be a drama queen, and players, teams fans would absolutely want you from other teams, you can go ahead and do that. But at the same time, I'm not surprised just because, it kind of came off like that. Now, does he deserve a pay raise? Like, realistically, does he deserve more than $7.5 million? Yes, absolutely. To me personally, he's a $12 million, $15 million guy for the 49ers. For the 49ers.
Yeah.
If the 49ers want to keep him, I'm all for it. Players demanding a trade or wanting a new contract it's relatively common when they're not getting the money they deserve and they know it. So I'm not too insulted by it. The timing's a little weird. I prefer this should have been something done during the draft or some other times so they have better opportunities. But as a business decision for Juan Jennings, this was very smart because you kind of put the 49ers in a situation where they have to trade him or give him a contract.
Yeah.
So for him personally, he does deserve more, but I would not give him $20+ million as a 49ers fan or as a 49ers team. That's something that we can't afford to do.
Yeah.
He is a good wide receiver, and I think he could be a wide receiver one on another team. So if another team was desperate and they needed another wide receiver, someone who's clutch, someone who's a 50-50 guy, some team like that may need him.
Yeah.
I would pay that $20+ million for him because I think he's that type of guy. But the 49ers have Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing. They have on the rise these players, by the way. Jordan Watkins looks phenomenal right now. Ayuk looks like he's come back potentially week 1. You have plenty of weapons with CMC looking fully healthy. You have Kittle. You have enough to where if you were to trade him, would I miss him? Yes, because I absolutely love Juwan Jennings. I love his energy. I love what he brings. But at the same time, he's not your number one. He would be your number 2/3 on this team where you're not desperate for the weapons. You're not desperate for him. But I absolutely love what he brings to the team. I hope that doesn't get lost what I'm saying here. And
no, not at all. Mixed emotions here.
Yeah, it's mixed emotions because you need to get that because he is a wide receiver.
He's a very solid wide receiver. He wasn't slated to be a number one, but by proclamation of everything that went on, you had a new rookie who got shot. We got Debo, who's not the best 50-50 ball traditional wide receiver. And then you had BA, whose knee got torn up. Cowan's not ready. And they treated me like a number one, and he put up number one type numbers. Just 125, I think 125 yards away from 1,000 with
very close, yeah.
6 TDs. No, I'm sorry, 25 yards away from 1,000. He had 6 TDs and 975 yards in one of the games in which he was ejected, I believe. He got goaded into something with, who was it, the Rams or
it was the Rams? I think it was the Rams, yeah.
And 25 yards short on 1,000 yards.
The thing is with his he's not, I don't mean to cut you off, but he doesn't. I'm seeing people give him shit for not reaching that 1,000-yard mark, which I understand. That's that you have to hit that mark. So it's kind of like an accolades thing. It's kind of like something you put on your resume when you hit 1,000 yards. I get
1,000-yard receiver.
But Juwan Jennings is not your 1,000 yards receiver. What makes him worth paying extra money, that $12-15 million, is the fact that he's clutch. Or when there's nobody else open, you throw him the ball in a 50-50 ball, right? And he's that type of guy, and you could trust him. He's great for the run game. He's clutch as well on third downs. Here's why he's called 3rd and 1.
3rd and Juwan.
He's better than Kendrick Bourne was on that third down.
Yes, sir.
I think that his value. Yeah, his value is not a 1,000-yard receiver. His value is clutch, dog. Like someone said in the comments, he's a dog. He's great for the run game. He's great for the 49ers. He's a perfect fit for the 49ers. That's what makes him valuable to this team. So I hate I just want to go to it's just the disrespect that's driving me nuts for Juwan Jennings right now, where it's I get it. It sucks what he's doing. People are looking at his yards or whatever. but he's not a 1,000 yards guy. He's a clutch dog guy.
And they're bringing up the point, DJ Malone in the hizzle here. He does block like a tight end. He's physical. He's physical. He's feisty. And, you know, he will get into it, man. He will get into it. And he's focused. He's physical. He's feisty. He's focused. You can depend on him. I call him the calculator because you can count on him. Been calling him that. He's been one of my faves for, I don't know, the better half of 3 years now. Even when he was like a little bitty unknown. He is getting up there in age, though. I got him at 28 years of age. 28. So he's getting it at
in his prime. Right
30
still.
30 threshold. And you know, you want to encourage this on your team because you want to get the guys paid who embody what you're looking for in the culture. You know, don't pay the crazy diva and then other people's doing, I guess, to get paid around here. And we do have a young, impressionable team. To get paid around here, I guess you got to act like a moron. You know, you want
that precedent has been set. So yes, for sure.
Yeah, you want to pay the guys who embody 49er football. You know, nose to the grindstone, getting out there and getting it done in pivotal moments and pivotal times. A bit limited athletically. He's not the big time athlete, Randy Moss speed or anything like that, but just a real get it done dude. I dare venture to say if we would have won the Super Bowl 2 years removed, Juan Jennings is probably your MVP.
Yep.
He was probably the MVP. No disrespect to Brock, but
yeah, he's the guy where, you know, the thing is, like, a lot of people are saying, like, some content creators have said, like, this is the last thing the 49ers need, or, you know, like, this is drama, now we're back to the drama thing. And it's like every year, you know, every team kind of deals with drama. The things with the 49ers, it's like their drama is very, usually it's a top end player that's a starter who's elite and there's some sort of problem. Or who's like Ayuk. You maybe some people like him, but he is the number one, right? Like you had to pay him. There's an issue there. With Juan Jennings, he's your third on this roster as wide receiver, three or two as wide receiver. Kittle is your second wide receiving threat. Like Juwan will be your third. So it's kind of like it's kind of like what Debo was, where it's just like it's a what's I'm looking for. It's just not. It's not really a priority. It's just something you appreciate. It's something that you I can't think of the word right now, but it's just someone. It's just an extra, is what I'm trying to say. Like he's just an extra special player. Someone that you're like, okay, if you traded him, it's not the end of the world. It's if you got rid of him, I still think this team is special. I still think this team has George Kittle, CMC, Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall. Like I named all those players. You got Brock, you know. Would I miss him? Yeah, but like I don't think this team immediately can't win games if we lost Juwan Jennings. I don't think it's the end of the world because you still have a 50-50 guy in George Kittle. So it's not like you're losing your 50-50 dude. It's just you're just losing that extra special guy that adds to the team where it's just kind of like if you lost him, it's not the end of the world. And I'm fine with that if he wants to be a little bit dramatic and whatever the 49ers end up deciding to do with him.
Yeah.
I'm on board with. Like I'm not saying it's not like Ayuk thing where they had to figure it out and if they were to trade him, it had to be this, it had to be that. Get what you can for Juwan Jennings if you feel like you had to, but if you can get him for $12-15 million for 2 years, whatever it may be, I think that is something that I think that's a steal for a guy like that. And someone that Brock really absolutely loves, the team loves. He's a great player, but if we move on from him, I don't think fans should look at this and be like, it's drama, it's a problem, it's an issue, and I know fans are like so scarred from previous situations, but I just think that we need to just roll back a little bit. I know it's been boring. I know it's been an issue, but like not an issue, but it's been boring and there's nothing really going on. So like something actually happens. This is common. This is common for teams to go through this, and it is something special. It's something to appreciate to not have the drama that we had. So I don't think it's something that is worth freaking out about. I'm glad that we got something to talk about. At least there's that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the wide receivers are fine. So I'm like almost repeating myself here, but it's just frustrating to see
it's a circular argument. You're like, well, this kind of does happen. We don't want it to happen, but it's happening, and we'll give it its due diligence and just analyze it. And we've been here before. We know how it goes. Let's look at the numbers. Let's see what's out there. And beautiful segue here. I got let me add this to the stage. This was Garrett Kerman of Clutch Points. He had an article on MSNBC saying the perfect trade proposal. And I want to kick around a little bit. How would you look at this? We would trade with the Chargers if it came to that. I'm not saying it is, everyone. Don't clip it up and say old Tarrerdome done sold them down the river. We're just doing a notional here, just clearly hypothetical and conjecture. But the Chargers would be the team that we trade for Quentin Johnson. The Chargers would receive Juan Jennings. We would get a 2025 third round pick. I think he meant 2026. And a conditional 2026 fifth round pick, upgrades to fourth if Jennings surpasses 900 receiving yards in 2025. We would also be getting Quentin Johnson. So this took me down a path to see what is Quentin Johnson all about. And here are his measurables for 2024. He was this was his sophomore year, and for his career, he's got 1,142 yards, and he goes about 12.3 yards per reception with 10 touchdowns total, 8 of which were the year prior. Very comparable in terms of productivity to what Juan Jennings averages there about. Of course, again, Juan Jennings had a really, really good year yet last year with the 6 touchdowns and 975 yards. But subsequent to that, when we did have everything in play, he didn't muster up that many yards nor receptions, but he was clutch in when he did receive the ball. You could count on Juwan. He's my calculator. What do you think about this possible trade?
I like the third round pick. That's awesome. Like if you get a third round pick for him, and like Quentin Johnson has it all. Like he has the size. He's your typical Juwan Jennings, if not faster. I believe he is faster than him. He was a first round pick. Quentin Johnson was, but the problem with Quentin Johnson is the fact that he drops balls all the time. He drops a lot. I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty sure he leads the league. Pretty sure he leads the league in drops. Like he'll drop the easiest pass in the world. And now the what makes me would probably say yes to this is the fact that there's a third round pick that comes with it. So you're getting a third round pick for this guy who has 1 year left on his deal, who's not your number one or no, like borderline number two. He would be a great fit. I think an excellent fit for the Chargers, and I think they would get a great wide receiver there. And I think Quentin Johnson would just be like, okay, maybe he just couldn't figure it out with the Chargers, so maybe he can figure it out with us, and that is something that I would work with that experiment. So you get an experimental kind of type wide receiver. If he can figure out his catching woes, right, then I would say this was a great trade. We actually stole him. You know, if he can figure out those catching situations, because he's great at everything else. Like he can get open. and you get a 3rd round pick, I am absolutely on board with this trade. But
and a conditional 5th. Let me see here. He
and a
said
conditional 5th.
uh I think he meant a 2026 because we already had the 2025 draft. So I don't know what he meant by that. I think he got a little fudged up with the numbers, but you would get the 3rd and a conditional 5th, granted that Juwan Jennings goes over 900 yards conditionally with the they were the San Diego Chargers, the LA Chargers, which is all gravy to it right there. You get the player and a couple of picks. It would be very, very what you always say, approachable or very, very intriguing. Wheels would definitely turn.
A 3rd and a 5th is what Trent Williams at age 30 went for.
Wow.
So this is something I think this is definitely a great trade in the terms of things. As for the Chargers, man, if they got Juwan Jennings, they would have their offense is set. They drafted the running back, Amarion Hampton, I believe. I could be wrong there. I'm pretty sure they drafted their running back there. They have a great offensive line. They have now, I believe they drafted a tight end. They have Lad McConkey. Now, if you add Juwan Jennings to that, their offense is set.
Nice.
So I think overpaying, because that's what I think this would be if they were to make this trade, would be worth it for them because they officially solidified their offense now. There's like maybe some depth issues there, maybe, but you got your 50-50 guy, you have your tight end, you have your running back, and you have your route runner who can get open in Lad McConkey. So and you have the quarterback. So you're good for the Chargers.
It's
I think
completeness. There's a completeness there.
And I think that I would personally do this trade, but also I would pay him. Like I would pay him the $12-15 million to get it done, because
is that what he's seeking, just to double up? I mean, he's obviously surpassed the $7 million. What is he seeking? 14, just doubling it up, 14, 15, even 16. If that's the case, I think it's a drop in the bucket, dude. $7 more million for a solid player,
for a great culture guy. Like
plus
next, because you're paying for a lot. Like people just look at the yards. It's great in the terms of like negotiations with contracts and stuff like that. Like business wise, you didn't reach 1,000 yards, dude. So we're not going to give you $20+ million or whatever. But we all know as fans, he's that guy, man. Like you said, he's the calculator, man. He's that guy, that the 50-50 ball, that clutch dude when everyone else is covered and Kyle can't draw it up. Just throw it to this guy.
Go to Juwan. Juwan over there somewhere. It's 3rd down. Go to Juwan. Go ahead to him. Yeah, quick out. He got it.
So in terms of that, like you could probably bring him down, but I've heard, I don't know if this is fact or not, but I think I heard like 1 or 2 people comment on my YouTube and TikTok. He wants $20 million, and I think that's too much. I'm like, okay, if that's true, then no, I'm sorry, we got to move on. But if you want to double that, and you just want more guarantees, even, sure, I would give you a fully guaranteed $14-15 million contract. I'm sorry, I would easily
that's
do that.
Good. That's real.
Like good. For this guy, but I'm not. I'm sorry, but he's just not. If he was a burner, like if he ran like a 4.3 or 4.4.
Oh, he would have been a first-round pick then. He would have
been a first-round pick. Right now, he'd
be demanding even more. Yeah, that's what I think. That's his number one drawback. Everybody says the one thing. He runs a 4.7 40. I don't think you could say Juwan Jennings in Swahili means 4.7 40. It's like everything. He only has a 4.7 40. Watch out, but he gets open. Of all the other receivers, he's the one that's separating. He's the one you can count on. And if he's not open, he's one of those. I heard Chris Carter say this. He said, even if I'm covered, I'm open. Throw me the ball.
Yes.
He's that guy.
Filthy, you're right. He would have that's exactly what Tarrerdome said. Is he would have been Super Bowl MVP. He's clutch, man. He doesn't, the moment never gets too big for him. He's made for the moment. And those wide receivers, there's certain traits that don't fall out of trees or you cannot teach sometimes. And being clutch, that is something that you probably cannot teach. All right. And you either have a receiver who's either too big for the moment or not big enough for the moment or whatever it may be, that's built into them. And so you cannot teach that for Juwan Jennings. Well, the Super Bowl is not too big for him. And that's a big deal to me. And the playoffs is not too big for him. And I think that, and the money, if he gets the money, it's not going to be a problem for him. So this guy, you got to pay him. If we traded him and he ends up getting like a $14, $15 million contract for 3 years or whatever it is, I'd be kind of upset because it's like, okay, you should have paid that. That's not bad for this dude, 20 years old in his prime, 2 years away from 30, then I'd be like, okay, you probably should have done that. But if you traded him and he gets like a $20+ million deal, I'd be like, okay, I see why you did it. I understand exactly where you're coming from here.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people want to say that the 49ers don't draft wide receivers well. I don't understand that because literally all the wide receivers we have are drafted. So, like, we have Juwan Jennings. We drafted him in the 7th round. Ayuk, we drafted him in the first round. Like, we missed a couple times.
Oh, we done missed those. In the Trent Baalke days, we just used to miss. Used to miss. And it was a period of time in there where we didn't have that productive guy unless we went out and got Emmanuel Sanders or an Anquan Bolden or even Randy Moss came here on the back end. He was on the back nine. He was at the clubhouse almost, but he still put up some productivity there. And
you got
maybe Crabtree before BA. That, I mean, in terms of the best that we had drafted, you probably
Anquan Bolden, but we didn't draft him. We traded for him. So
we traded for him.
I mean, a lot. We hit a lot on wide receivers, I think, more so than we miss. So, and I do like I like these wide receivers we got. I absolutely love them. And I think we got plenty of weapons to make it happen. And we got Demarcus Robinson, who is supposed to be like your
red zone. That's a wild card. Yeah.
He's your red zone threat kind of type guy. Yeah. And I think that's a role that Juwan Jennings has because he's a 50-50 dude. So I think you can get away with trading Juwan Jennings. But I believe in these rookies. I believe in Jordan Watkins. I believe in Jacob Cowan taking that leap. I believe in Ricky Pearsall. I believe Ayuk come back week 1. Demarcus Robinson, I believe in him. I like him a lot in this offense. I think he'll do really well.
Now he's got a suspension coming up. I think this suspension. This too is a theory. I think there's a bit of, shall we say, gamesmanship on behalf of Juwan Jennings. I think he came back, looked at the scene, looked at what the 49ers may or may not have. You got one coming, a rookie, or it's his second year. He's coming back. Ricky Pearsall, you're hoping good things on there. You got another rookie, Jordan Watkins. Demarcus Robinson is here, but he's got that suspension. BA, I'm hearing positive thoughts that he could be ready week 1, but usually with the unhappy triad, it takes a year. My money's on more like October, at least. And even then, when you get there, you got a ramp up and a run up. It's not like, hey, I'm ready to go first week, bam, 100 yards. No, it's going to take a little getting used. You got to get hit a little bit, acclimated, get in football shape. So I think Juwan Jennings may have looked at the scene and said, this is my shot right here. If I'm going to get anything, this is it.
This could potentially be his best year. And I think that when he went into OTAs and the camps and stuff, he realized what he was doing to someone like John Dolanor and Green and all these other corners and realize, okay, maybe I'm that guy. And so I understand where it comes from. Like
I do.
like I don't hold it against him actually for doing this. Like, I mean, you're 28 years old, $7.5 million. You're actually worth double that for sure. You're very valuable to the culture, so you should get more money than that. You're not just. I think Juwan Jennings has done this team enough favors in the fact of like taking a bit of a pay cut. Like he's worth more than that. He's been worth more than that for the past couple of years now. So I think that it's so weird because usually I'd be like, well, fuck that guy. Sorry, I mean, Chris. Like, screw that guy. You want to tell him to kick rocks and stuff like that. But if you stop and think about it, you're like, you know what? I'm actually gonna be on board with Juwan Jennings here. And like, yeah, man, get your money. You deserve more than that for sure.
A number 3 slot receiver who stepped up and basically fulfilled the number 1 route, the number 1 wide receiver role, I should say, for a season sustained because of the infamy that came about with the shooting, the terrible accident, the terrible injury, and Debo, he rounds his routes out like a circle. So he was the true wide receiver with some routes, So, and Kyle didn't trust Cowing, so.
And this hopefully this year though, because I've heard he's taken huge strides. So that might be the case, but
hope so.
The one thing that some people aren't thinking about, and I've said this in my short when I reacted to this, was like Cowing's a question mark. I get that. Ricky Pearsall is still a question mark. You got Jordan Walker's question mark. Put those question marks out there as your receiving core, even if you got CMC, even if you got George Kittle. You don't know what he's going to be like, even if he is back week 1. So you got question marks all over the wide receiver position. And Juwan Jennings is like literally your only non-question mark. This year is the easiest schedule in the NFL. And I think that if there's a year where they're obviously restarting, they're not restarting, but they're reloading in age. They're trying to get, like, they got the whole D-line young. Yeah. Outside of Fred is young. The corners are young. Safeties are young. Like they're doing the whole, like, okay, let's get back to being young again kind of type thing. And if there is a year to where you want to give second years, third year players reps, this would be the year to
This is the year to get their feet wet. You got basically about 8 or 9 scrimmages coming up. just given and again, there's an exception to every rule. I have Ellison in my ear right now. He said, just because they were signed last year don't mean they ain't gonna be signed. You're right. There's exceptions to every rule, but just what it looks like on paper and at its face value, we have a very advantageous schedule. Just based on how everybody else did last year, it is we could have went a lot harder than what we have here. I'm not mad at it.
Well, if you go one, okay, like if we believe I believe in Jordan Watkins, I believe in Cowing, I believe in Ricky Pearsall. You hit one of those 3 guys, you have replaced Juwan Jennings officially. So the odds are, and realistically, if you really kind of think about it, it's kind of almost in your favor. The only thing that concerns me with the thing you're probably not going to replace when it comes to Juwan Jennings, not the clutchness, because I think that one of these receivers can pull it off, be clutch, 1 in 3 chance of that, is the blocking part. Can you get the blocking out of Juwan Jennings, the Juwan Jennings blocking into one of these receivers? I don't know if they can. I don't think Cowing at his size can do it. I don't think Pearsall at his size can do it. So the run game will kind of fall back a little bit, especially with the O-line we have, and that's what makes him. He has Juwan Jennings has invaluable like traits, and that one of them is that run game situation. You can't. That I'm not confident the 49ers are going to replace.
I agree.
So if you were, and I know you're not gonna like this, what I'm gonna say here. If you were to trade Juwan Jennings, you have to do less runs because you don't have the receiving core anymore that's going to make those blocks that you want to do. And it's now becoming more of a passing situation here. So that it just depends on what can these guys become blockers. But going back to you're like, don't you say get away from the run. But I just think that you're not going to be as good as you were in years prior without Juan Jennings. So there is a invaluable.
And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But man, don't get in here. You get heavy run. You get heavy pass. It's in a 50 average game, 62 to 65 plays. We better look at every game with about a 33 to 27 split in terms of more run than pass. If it's flipped, if it's 53% or more on passes to runs, you're probably looking at an L. You're probably looking at the L. I started doing a little research on it, but I didn't get to a lot of it. Went all the way back to 2019, and our success, I think 88% of the times when we ran more than we passed. Going back to the Jimmy G day, we usually were successful.
And we usually run back by committee too as well.
And if we weren't, it probably was a close game like Cleveland where we lose by a field goal or something. It was never bad, but I'm telling you, man, when you start throwing that thing 40 times a game and not running it for 20, woo!
I absolutely love. I don't know who said it in the chat, but whoever said that Juwan Jennings is like your tight end, that's 110% like so true in so many ways because of that blocking ability, his ability to run in the slot against linebackers and safeties, like it's almost like he should move him to tight end. But I just think that
I think Kittle faster than Juwan. What do you think?
I think he is. I think George Kittle ran like a 4.6, didn't he? Let me check. Hold on.
Yeah,
let me check how fast he is.
Let's check that out.
Kittle
may be faster.
40,
straight line speed,
4.52. So yeah, he's faster. George Kittle is faster. So I think that here's the thing, man. Like Debo, because I know he brought the Debo thing. Losing Debo, you knew that from JJ. Debo was not a blocker. From what I remember of him, I never remember him having a dominant block. Like correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember him blocking.
He was physical, but his physicality came for he'll run you over. Ball. Yeah, once he had the ball, yeah, he doing some. But
Ayuk and Juwan Jennings are the only two blockers.
They would get downfield. Ayuk definitely, you would see him springing. I remember he munched the guy in Pittsburgh. We were up there.
Yeah, I remember that dude. Yeah, man. CMC, down the field and made a
It was like.
Let me see if news came out of how much Juwan Jennings actually wants, because that's such a. You're not wrong, Juwan.
He definitely needs a raise. At least doubled it. If it's that, I did my Tarrerdome patented look at how much a receiver is worth based on catches, touchdowns, and yardage. And let me throw it back. And I did it with the highest paid receiver in the game, the best of the best, and the highest paid. Jamar Chase had 1,700 yards and 17 touchdowns. I took that, parlayed it into 34 divided by the 40 yards he has on average salary, or the 40 million he has on average salary. It came to 1.7 per productive touchdown pass combination. With that said, you take 9 from the 975 and you take 6 from the touchdowns. He's worth, I fudged it up a little bit. He's actually worth $16 million. He's actually worth 16. Anything over that, you're probably doing a little bit too much there. It should be 16 times 1.7. That would be 25.5. But I don't know, dude. If it's over, I'm with you. If it's over 20, no, we just can't do it. You can push it a little bit to 18, but 20 would be my threshold.
Yeah, that definitely draws the line. I think the 40 like now the question is, do I think the 49ers are going to actually re-sign him and give him a new contract? I think they will. I know that the 49ers are having a new approach to things where they're going to Parag now, where Parag is going to because if we remember correctly what they said about Palo Ayuk thing, like we're not making decisions based on emotion anymore. We're doing like calculating and stuff like that. I think that if you can get him for under $20 million, I think logistically and for the logic of the team, I think that's worth paying him that kind of money. But like there is that concern of what do the 49ers think of him about? Because that's what comes down to is because the 49ers have made it known that if there's no more emotional decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they believe in Pearsall, Cowing, and Jordan Watkins to replace that production on all those levels, he's not coming back, and they're going to trade him because that would be the non-emotional aspect of it, right? Where you're just like, we love the player, he's part of the culture and stuff like that, but we got players to replace that. Not saying that I'm not saying I will. If they believe that, the logical aspect, the logical approach for them is to move on from Juan Jennings then and work with these rookies in this year where you have the easiest schedule. So I think I really do want him back. I think he should be back. He fills in situations where there's no question marks to him. If you were to pay him money, I don't think he's going to suddenly have a huge drop off at all. I don't think that the blocking he does is elite. His everything he does is great. The only thing he's just not a burner. So I think the 49ers should, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were to trade him.
I value solid route running, getting open, leader of a team, clutch over your 4.39 40. Who had that record for a little? What was that? John Ross was his name. John Ross.
Oh, yeah.
He went
Ross,
to he set the record for the 40. We don't even know where he played. Amen. We have no idea. He's fast.
He's a free agent now. He's gone.
Yeah, he's just fast. He fast. Give me the guy. That's it too, man. If he run that fast, he's probably a $105 standing in a puddle of piss with a brick in his back pocket. he's got a hamstring every other the speed burners is all that, but we don't really even use it. We had what's Danny Gray was very, very fast, right? Is Danny Gray with us anymore? I don't think so.
No, I think he's like the Eagles now, and then he got released, so he's not doing too high yet.
Yeah, we need solid receivers who understand routes. And another thing I'll throw at Juwan Jennings, he has some quarterbacking in his background, and those guys make the best slot guys. They understand how to sight adjust, and they just have a knack for getting in corners and getting in where they can view things like a quarterback and know that, you need me right here. I'm going to be wide open right here, just in between those linebackers, or just to the flat a little bit. I know the spots. I know what you need, and I'm going to do that for you. It's some intangible stuff that you just don't necessarily see or quantify in terms of touchdown and, statistical value, fantasy football stuff. It's a little know-how here. It's a little nuance. Blocking and knowing how to get open is one.
Yeah. And what a lot of things, what people say, like a lot of teams don't usually have 3 or 4 weapons on a team. Like that usually doesn't happen. It's not as common. And the 49ers have that. So if they lost a 4th weapon guy in Juwan Jennings, team should still work. It should still function. It should still win games. Maybe not as dominant as they would without Juwan Jennings for sure. But you still, the people are mentioning the Kyle doesn't play vets. He doesn't play guys he doesn't trust or guys he doesn't love or whatever. And he doesn't think he's ready, right?
Yeah.
He thinks Ricky Pearsall is ready because he played him. he thinks Ricky Pearsall is ready. He wants Ricky Pearsall to work out. He's playing Ricky Pearsall. You have DeMarcus Robinson. Yeah, he has that 3-game suspension. I get it. But there's still 14 other games to be played. He's going to play him. Then you got Ayuk as well. So those are 3 wide receivers already that Kyle Shanahan's going to draw up plays for or put him out there that he's going to trust. Then you got George Kittle. Then you got CMC. So to say that they're outside of Juan Jennings, if you were to get rid of him, what is there for Kyle to trust? I just named him. 3 wide receivers right there that Kyle will trust, not even including Ty Kittle or CMC that he uses in the passing game. That's 5.
That is a very good point there. CMC is going to cut into some of his targets just by progress. He trusts CMC. He loves CMC, especially in the passing game. Yeah.
So that's 5 weapons on this team, and I love Brock. I really do. But that's good enough. I think that's enough
Can make
to
it work
with that. But I'm not saying like without Juwan Jennings, like we will be able to replace. I've said like because Juwan saying being a little positive about it. I just think that's the reality of it. Like Juwan Jennings, realistically, does not get used as this number 1 guy. Not even number 2 guy, he doesn't do anything that in the passing game in the sense of being your 1 or 2 guy. It goes Kittle, Ayuk, heck, even CMC probably gets more looks than Juwan Jennings does. So it's just the volume in which he's used that matters here. It's where it's like, yeah, he will be missed, but if he wasn't even used before as much, just how much are you going to miss him now? I just think, and if this schedule was hard, like this was a harder schedule like the years prior or whatever, then you got to keep this guy. But you have an opportunity here to experiment, to trust, to put forth these rookies, these players that you love and you believe
get them
in.
some burn. We can get these rookies some burn finally without the pressure of every game being a daggone playoff game, because you're taking everybody's best shot, particularly when you've come off an NFC championship, when you've lost the Super Bowl. You won a division last year. Guess what? You're going against every number 1, and they're gonna match themselves up against you, and they're not gonna take any slack. That's a little different going into it than y'all really had a sucky year last year. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the bottom of everybody in the division. So, build yourself up, get a haircut, get a job, for God's sakes.
But it's really it just comes down to the money. Look, $20 million. If he can get it somewhere else, go get it, man. You deserve that much money. You're a guy like that. But you're not used enough as a $20 million wide receiver. You're not used like that. So you'll be taking up the cap where you're not getting those opportunities while you're taking away reps from other rookies or second-year guys that could really benefit from these reps from the schedule. So it's just the money is what matters here, and you cannot nobody keeps every single player that every single fan wants. That does not happen. And if you're going to think realistically here, logically here, $20+ million for a part-timer is too much. It's too much. And it's not, it's, I come off as like, I'm trying to be this super positive and, going full, David Lombardi here. But I'm saying if you're talking
we got
about,
a business here. Yeah.
Would you pay a part-time employee like shit ton of money compared to a full-time employee?
$75,000 a year for a part-time employee? No, bro. I gotta have you full time. This has to be your number 1 job. If it isn't, then lots of luck. Get on out there and make your big money, make your fortune. But we're looking for a committed, altogether $75,000 a year guy.
If you could trade Juwan Jennings for someone like Quentin Johnson and a 3rd and a 5th round pick. Get that. If you can get those assets, I would trade that 3rd and 5th round pick for another wide receiver or something of that nature to kind of replace it. Because a 3rd and 5th round pick, if you can get that, this obviously it's a hypothetical trade, But if you can get something like that for Juwan Jennings, you can use that draft capital for an offensive lineman, for a better offensive lineman for sure. That'll be probably available during trade deadline. There's so much more you could do with that while getting rid of a part-timer who deserves more money. You also got to think about the player as well, man. The player deserves, like, for how much he puts his body out there and how well he plays and the culture he has, he deserves all the money that comes to him. So if he gets traded to the Patriots or some other team, whatever, he's going to get used more there. If he goes to the Patriots, he's going to get used more at the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
If he goes to the Chargers, he's going to be used more.
The GOAT of the Patriots since Randy Moss.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. He could be used more at the Chargers. He would be used more there. So it's more like for the player himself, where it's like he's sacrificing reps. He's sacrificing, theoretically, legacy for the 49ers just because he wants to do the 49ers fans a favor. No, like he doesn't owe us that. We already owe him back pay for the things he's done for us. So it's just kind of, there's just so much business here in the aspect of there's things that I want to keep them all. I want to keep Juwan Jennings, but the business aspect, if I put myself in my GM shoes and the player's shoes, like whatever the contract is and whatever he's willing to stand with, trading him is not something that we should be like
poo-pooing.
We shouldn't poo-poo on the idea of it.
We really need to look at this. This could be mutually good it could be a win-win for both sides. The trade here, because he definitely deserves every dollar he can get, and we deserve what we can get if we were to trade him. And getting a couple of picks, man. Juwan went with seventh round pick.
7th round pick, yeah.
Flipping that just clearly from a GM standpoint, that this isn't terrible. The comments expressed here not necessarily reflect those are terrible. This is just playing hypothetical GM, putting on the GM hat to flip a 7th rounder for 2 picks, one being a conditional and a player, is just good fantasy football, good GMing, if I could draw that up. And speaking of drawing up, and we're talking about a special person in Juwan Jennings, I call him the calculator, and I call my guests here on the Tarrerdome the Golden Domers. So let me shout them out real quick. They've been in here for a little bit. Hizzle or shizzle, as Tiger said on the racial draft. The first one coming up, leading off batter, Red Jet Shell, repping the Bay like a congresswoman. Good to see you. We got Mimi Dave in this piece. Good morning, Mimi Dave. David Corona out here. My Corona. That's the little Corona text there. The Miss Talented Tanisha. Good morning, Tarrerdome and all the Golden Domes. Good to see you this morning, Miss Tanisha. Let me see. Crazy Juice in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy Juice is here. My man, Colin Young. I'm a lemonade guy myself in the summertime. You ain't even lying, man. Country time lemonade is the bomb. It is. Miss Val B. Go 49ers. Let go Val B representing. I see you. Keeping the faith. Good to see you this morning. Giving the golden salute. That is dope. I got Wolfie he's into it. That's my dude, man. CG Ruthless. Would you trade Juwan Jennings to the Raiders for Jacoby Myers? Give me a couple picks. We can talk. The wallet is open. And speaking of wallet, big money, Papa J in the building. Shouting us out. What up, Papa J? Good to see you. Jeffrey Champion. What a name. Champion. Man, that is bad. Y'all got spark plugs and you winning all the time.
Bro is a literal champion.
You just come out winning. Yeah. Ain't named champion. I'm a champion. And speaking of champions, Twin Empire. What's good? That sound like There was a horse back in the day, Empire Maker. He won the Kentucky Derby, I'm sure. Maybe 2 or 3 legs he did at the Preakness too. DJ Malone with the popping avatar. Look at that, looking like the Reaper. The Reaper. Yes, I see you out there. Hollered at that. Going down some more. Hey, there he is. Ty Austin here to get it started. Ty Austin in the building of East Coast Red and Gold. And sometimes he hangs out with my boy. I saw him in here. David McNiner is somewhere down here. We got 49er Brian in the building. I'm hitting the road soon. Wanted to say thank you so much, 49er Brian. It's a pleasure that you would just stop in and think of me. I'm getting up in the age a little bit, so I like people to just stop and say hey on your way out to y'all young folks at the club. Let me see what else do I got. I'm scrolling down here. Y'all been in here, man. Y'all are in here. I don't want to miss anybody. Want to shout my peoples out. Say your name. Say it loud. Like Joe Boyd is in the building. We have no receivers anymore. We got them, but are they ready? Are they game ready? And is Kyle going to give them the leash, or is he going to give them the leeway? Let them kids grow. Black Butterfly sail across the water. Filthy Casual. Oh man, that's a dope name. That's a dope. Filthy Casual. Rookies are reporting today. Did Collins show up? I had rookies coming on the 5th. It is the 15th. Rookies, thank you, man. Shout out to you. Rookies are reporting today. The aforementioned David McNiner, I call him DMC, is here celebrating there. It is rookie report day. Bebop Jones in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Bebop Jones with a lot of bebop. I'm not RoboCop. I'm Chub Rock. And Chub Rock, when I was in college, Chub Rock had it on lock, man. 73 old school. Give him 15 mil or 3 years, whichever comes first. Sound like a warranty you get. Hey, that's a good plan, man. Get a man some money. Let's raise some money here for Juan, Jennings. Everybody buy a jersey. Everybody buy a jersey. Ellison Burley is in the building. I saw Ellison earlier. Yeah, they were filthy guys. Ellison Burley in here. My cuz, good to see you. Juan 911 is in the building. I think JJ will age magnificently. The way he plays doesn't require speed, so he can still be great in his mid-30s. Pay him. I like it. You bring up valid points. I love the valid points. I don't like the invalid points. People just say, well, I just don't like them. Miss D. High Terror, good to see you this morning. I saw you a little early. You came back home. We talked about some things. Everything gonna be all right. We'll get settled up there. Everything will be good. Let me see. And I'm scrolling. Mimi Dave's got some information talking about the extension. Mimi Dave be trying, boy. Mimi Dave out here. And 49ers throwback. At least I'm here. Better late than never. Man, you ain't never late. You always on time, my brother. You here with us. And I'm scrolling. My man Dion's in the building. Niner Gang podcast. Nobody ever says, man, I wonder how Dion feels. Oh, you're going to know. Moving right along. And I think I'm getting close to the end. Prince C. I was getting ready to say it was somebody else, but it's happy to see you today.
I saw that too.
Like, Grant C, wonderful for you being here, man. Thank you so much. For coming out and hanging out with us, man. Who else I got here? I think I can fade it right now. Strawberry Reacts. Strawberry Reacts. Good to see you this morning. Strawberry Reacts. Tommy Huxley on the lead guitar. He plays so beautiful. Don't you agree? Tommy Huxley's in here. Somebody referenced by Chub Rock. Chub Rock was dope. Chub Rock, he was like a Rhodes Scholar too. He's real smart. Tyler Hinton from the Kingdom. We're the faithful. KC is the Kingdom, and I like that. I don't like that you took a couple Super Bowls from me, but you're welcome here anytime. And I'll just stop it right on the one. Like that. All right, all right. Yeah, yeah. We did that thing. We did that thing. Let me add to the stage, take a little long, bring a little on. Where we going now, Wolfie? Going back to the stage
Um, I
on the
think
docket.
the
The ESP,
segue.
the ESPN quarterback snub list. I called it. Um, ESPN put an article out of execs, coaches, scouts rank NFL's top 10 QBs, top 10 QBs, and put them in this particular order as I read. Make us bigger there. Hey, there we are in living color there. At number one, no surprises, we have
Patrick
Patrick
Mahomes.
Mahomes was number one, highest ranking. Then number two, Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills. Joe Burrow was number three. Lamar Jackson at four. At number five, Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. Number six, Matthew the Cat Stafford of the Los Angeles Rams. Justin Herbert came in at number seven. Number eight was Jared Goff. Number nine, Jalen Hurts, freshly minted off of the Super Bowl winner, Jalen Hurts, and he's all the way at nine. At 10, rounding it all off, was a Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Honorable mentions were C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans, Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers, also receiving votes. Kyler Murray, way down. Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa, Tagovailoa, and y'all can insert your jokes there. And Bo Nix of Denver received some love as well. I kind of thought that when you win a Super Bowl and you had a solid performance, you should jump up a little bit. They had I could see why the Philly folks are feeling a little some kind of way. Brock is always, yeah, they just ain't never gonna give Brock any credit. So that ship is still, I ain't mad about it. But for Justin Herbert to be up there, have we seen some postseason greatness from Herbert? He's a dog. He got Wolfie. He got an arm. He's an alien. He's an avatar.
He's got the regular season. He's got the regular season yards.
Sure. Yeah, outside of the numbers, one side, outside of the numbers to the other. I seen him put it up 75 yards in the air. But are we? Is this a little? Are we going on showmanship, or you produced somehow? I mean, those were the things that jumped out to me. How do you feel about it, Wolf?
The Herbert or the list?
The list. Do you think they got it about right?
Thinking about it right.
Yeah.
Well, there are only 6 quarterbacks. There are 5 quarterbacks I would take over Brock Purdy. There's only 5. But if Jaden Daniels, I don't do 1-year rookies. I don't place those anywhere because I don't think that's fair. Because 1 year doesn't define you. That's something that I preach all the time. So it wouldn't be right for me to put him on a list in general. But if Jaden Daniels is this good as like he was last year, then I would probably say 6 quarterbacks over Brock Purdy because Jaden Daniels is phenomenal. And if he can play as good as he was for the next couple of years, just like that, then I would put him over Brock, and that's what I would do there.
Yeah.
But so I would personally place him in the 7, 8, 6 slot right there, just because I would remove Jaden Daniels. But if you had to put Jaden Daniels in there, Justin Herbert's slot is probably where I put him. Jared Goff's spot is where I would put him, somewhere on there. Just when they make these lists, they don't apply what they've done in the playoffs. They don't do that. Whatever you do in the playoffs, doesn't matter when you make these lists. It's what this is a regular season list award.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And with that approach, Justin Herbert probably needs to be on this list for that reason. Like he's your regular season guy. Like in regular season, he's got the yards, he's got some moments. He's also got some down moments as well. So it's probably why he's at 7 or 8. But in the playoffs, man, he just cannot put it together. He's just not that guy. So I wouldn't even put him on this list. Jared Goff over Brock Purdy is actually wild. But what you need to notice about all these quarterbacks, except for one of them, they're all first rounders. Every single one of them are all first rounders. They're all, either number 1 overall in the first round. You got Jalen Hurts, who is an early second round pick, so it's practically a first rounder. So it's just draftism when it comes to Brock Purdy. He'll never. Do I think he was snubbed personally? Yes, but I don't expect execs and all that to put Brock Purdy on a list like this just because he's a Mr. Irrelevant guy who has the expectation that's he's held to a higher standard than these quarterbacks. Because these quarterbacks can just play great in the regular season and then in the playoffs be one of the worst quarterbacks ever, and it doesn't matter. So that's what this really actually is all about. I do think he's snubbed, but I'm not upset with the list because I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I don't think it's justified, but this is are you a first round pick? Do you play really well in the regular season? Playoffs do not matter unless you're Patrick Mahomes. Okay. There's a criteria to this list that Brock Purdy does not match with. That's why he's not on this list. But if you ask him to make it, he would be 7, 8 on this list for sure. I think what Brock Purdy does in the regular season is really good. And what he did last year, like I said, he's held to a higher standard. So all the bad is shoved to the forefront when really he was really good for what was given to him. And in the playoffs, he's the reason why you win playoff games. Like he doesn't do what Justin Herbert does and choke. He doesn't do what Jared Goff does and choke.
You slid that one in real quick.
So it's because I'm Strawberry tell you I'm a Justin Herbert hater for sure. But so what you do in the playoffs does not matter, and what Brock Purdy does he'll never be on one of these lists unless he wins a Super Bowl. That's literally the only time he'll potentially be on one of these lists. And the fact that he's not a first-round pick, if you're a first-round pick and you got some wins, you're going to be on this list.
It vindicates it and gives you the moxie to say, that's my guy. I always knew it. Even when he was in college, that's why we got him in the first round. If you were to say, Brock, well, hey, we blew this thing all together. We didn't know what we were doing. And you don't want to celebrate that. It's like your resume. You only put out the highlights. You didn't tell them about how you got to fighting at that job at the car wash. You just said, I was a technical advisor at the car wash when I was there. You don't put the low lights. And it really reaches at the evaluation process of quarterbacks because they miss all the time. They totally miss. Joe Montana was a 3rd round guy. The great Tom Brady, 6th round, 199th overall. Johnny Unitas bumped around the teams. He made the modern quarterback what it is, but that messes them all up. So you got to vindicate your first round picks, and you've got to be able to say, hey, we knew it all the time. That's what we do here, right? Hey, we saw it. We knew it. Look at us. Yeah.
So the one thing, stay on Brock, not stay on Brock, but move to another quarterback real quick that kind of relates to the situation here. Jalen Hurts, for example, because he won a Super Bowl, even though I will fight to the death die on this hill, He was not the reason why they won a Super Bowl. He was not the reason why they won playoff games. That was not the case, okay? But yet somehow people could talk to him as a top 5 quarterback and get away with it. People could talk to him as a 2, 3, and 4 guy. That's what I'm seeing on social media and get away with it because he won a Super Bowl, because he was Super Bowl MVP, because he got it by default, because you can't give it to an entire offensive line. You can't give it to an entire defense. You can't give it to an entire wide receiver core. Like, that's the reason why he got it. And you could do that. And if Brock won a Super Bowl, I think he would be on this list. That's exactly what I agree with what Juan says, that if he won a Super Bowl, man, you can say things. Even if most fans don't agree with it, you could say it and get away with it. And and for someone like Brock, he needs to win a Super Bowl if he ever wants to be on one of these lists. Just so that if you were to say it, or if I were to say it, or someone else said, they can't really debate it because they're holding Super Bowl wins to a certain standard and as a certain accolade. Where if you said like this guy won a Super Bowl though, he won Super Bowl MVP. So there's nothing you can say about that. And so suddenly you can get away with placing a quarterback wherever you want.
We got out-of-work comedians in this chat, man. Just tell my resume. I put down financial analyst when I was a cashier, and Tommy Huxley says Baker Mayfield.
So
that'd be crazy.
The list itself, I'm not surprised by the list itself. Okay, honestly, you swap Jaden Daniels with Matthew Stafford, and then you swap Lamar with Burrow. I think the list is perfect at that point. But then you take out Justin Herbert.
What's your thought on Baker Mayfield? Is Baker Mayfield
I would put him at 10. I think 10 is actually perfect.
First round pick.
Okay. I think 10 is about perfect for someone like Baker Mayfield. I can't really think of another quarterback. CJ Stroud took he had that really bad year last year, so it really kind of pulls him out of it. But if CJ Stroud can get back to that, so Baker Mayfield, man, yeah, I would probably put him around like that 10 area. Hurts,
yeah, honestly,
in that 10 to 12 area as well. So I don't hate it. Jared Goff, 10 to 12 areas. So they're kind of like, there's only so much 10 to 12 areas where you got to put them in like the 8s, 9s, or 10s. Mm-hmm. So Baker Mayfield being there at 10, I don't hate it. I think he's better than Kyler. He's playing better than CJ Stroud right now. He's playing better than, I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks that could possibly be in the top 10 that I'm not thinking about. I think he's better than Tua. I can't think of another quarterback that would probably be better than Baker Mayfield that's not on this list, that's not Brock Purdy. So 10, I think, is perfect. I do believe in Baker. I'm a Baker believer. Not in the sense of like, oh, he's a top 5 quarterback or whatever, but I think he has the ability to win. I think he has the ability to win some playoff games, and
he's
he has
fiery.
the ability to win games.
He's a fiery guy, and
he's got a lot of heart.
And he's had to deal with it. Well, it's hard to say, but he's had one of the best receivers in the game. I think somewhat even overrated. Mike Evans is just that dude. Been that dude since Texas A&M. But he did have to contend with the loss of what's his receiver who tore his knee? Godwin. Yeah. He had to, kind of make things happen on a makeshift to get there with it. And it's kind of the best of both worlds. Like you had Mike Evans, but you did lose Chris Godwin, right? Godwin. You did lose him, so you did have to kind of make it up on the fly. So
my question is for you, just so I can't believe I didn't think about this quarterback. Is this a regular season? Because I take this as a regular season list. It doesn't matter what's in the playoffs. This is a regular season list, right?
Execs, coaches, and scouts rank the top 10 quarterbacks for 2025.
Herbert should, if you're counting the playoffs as well, then Herbert shouldn't be on this list, like at all, like whatsoever. It's crazy to me that he's even on this list. especially over Dak Prescott. I hate the Dallas Cowboys with a passion. And every time I can make fun of them, I could, and I would. But Dak has done more in the playoffs than what Justin Herbert has. And Dak has done a lot more in the regular season than what Justin Herbert has. So why is Dak suddenly being forgotten about in the regular season as this regular season? He was a second runner-up to MVP not too long ago. And Justin Herbert was never.
It's got Herbert's immense talent keeps him in the top 7, but hasn't vaulted him into the first tier of quarterback. His 21,093 career passing yards are the NFL's history through 5 games the most. Last season, he was asked to sacrifice yardage as part of the offense coordination of Greg Roman's run-heavy attack, with his attempts per game dipping from 35 to 29 year over year. Striking the ball with ball control, or sticking with ball control, Herbert's 3 interceptions on 504 attempts marked the lowest interception rate, which is a microscopic 0.6% by any qualified quarterback since Tom Brady in 2016. So they're allowing latitude in terms of him getting a new offensive coordinator, new regime, that being that of Jim Harbaugh, going run heavy, but they can't deny the fastest to 21,000 yards in 5 seasons, the most in NFL history. So, you know, it's kind of statish. It ain't based on the wins. It's, you know,
it's really there's this weird favoritism to Justin Herbert that I get why to an extent, because he looks like a Ferrari. He does it all, man, but under the hood, dude, it's just not there.
He's a Fiero.
Yeah,
the Fiero looked like a Ferrari, but it was a Pontiac.
Yes,
if
you looked at the guy without that build, okay, and that arm, he's not on this list. Okay, this is I'm easily putting Dak on this list over Justin Herbert. I'm taking Dak over Jared Goff. Honestly, Dak is in my top 10 for sure. Like I don't understand this. Like, I've wanted to hate Dak. I've always wanted to like hate this guy. Like I've wanted to really put him at the 15, 14 spot, take him over Kyler and all that kind of stuff. But the dude is actually really good. If the problem with Dak that he has, it's kind of almost what Purdy does sometimes, where sometimes he plays hero ball or he tries to do a little too much.
Doing DTM. Doing too much. Too much. Don't do all that. Just win the game. Be solid.
And I think that Dak, if he had a more consistent, if Dak had a little bit more consistent coordinators, a better head coach, I think personally he'd probably go. I think he'd probably make an NFC Championship game if he had a better situation like that.
Could be. But he's got defenders. He's typically had a pretty robust offensive line. He had when he was at the top of his game, the running game, Ezekiel Elliott, and then he had a number 20. I forgot his name. Remember, he broke his leg against us in the playoff. Pollard. Yeah, they had Pollard, and you know he's got 2 good receivers. He's actually gonna be, for you fantasy football folks, I think he's gonna have a pretty good year with the pickup that he had, and he's got CD Lamb out there too. So I think they're gonna throw it around a little bit this year. But I agree with you. It's just he just tried to do a little too much, you know. Right. That's why
I would probably put him like in the back end. I'll probably replace. Well, I took out Justin Herbert, so I would probably slot Baker down the line more. Hurts to me is he's in that 10 to 12 area. So like I would take Dak over Hurts. That's probably a hot take.
Wow.
For sure.
Really?
I think Hurts is without a doubt. There's one thing that Hurts does that I will give him props for is that when people say game manager, it's someone who takes care of the football, right?
Yeah.
Hurts does have his ability to take care of the football. Like he does. He's sometimes he will. I know there's a couple games where he's the reason why they lost. He made a bad throw against the Jets once that I'll never forget that game. They were up and he threw the ball when he shouldn't have, and it was a pick six and they lost to the Jets.
Oof.
Right? Dak has done that too, right? He's the reason why they've lost some games. But but Hurts is never the reason they win games. Like I've yet to find and there's not a playoff game where he's the reason why they won. The Super Bowl performance that he had 2 years ago where he lost, that was phenomenal. I'll give him props for that. But he didn't win.
And he had a couple of picks in there. But this past one, it was it was going to be a slobber knocker. They were going to do what they do, run that rock. And Saquon, they committed to running that ball, but Saquon was having a really hard day. And when you depended on Hurts to make the throws, he came through in the big moments. That's what I can say about him. It should have been. I absolutely adore the game plan that Philly put together in that Super Bowl. That's absolutely how you're supposed to play it. We're committed to the run. We're going to run. We're going to run. We're going to soften the shores up with our ground attack, and then we're coming in and take and engage targets as we appear. In just by the ratio of running, 45 runs to 22 passes, and of those 22 passes, he hit on I think 80% of them, somewhere there, 70-80%, and they went for touchdowns in big games. We're not going to have a run and shoot and a wide open spread offense to where he's a 500 yard passer in a game. But when you ask him to perform, be it ever that the tush push or just hitting that open man or just putting it where it needs to be put, he'll step up and do it. And the coronation of that, the pinnacle being on the biggest stage for the Super Bowl championship.
I can name probably 12, this is just off my head, 12 to 14, 15 maybe quarterbacks that can do what Jalen Hurts did in the Super Bowl and win it. Maybe even more than that. What that defensive line could not get to Jalen Hurts for the Chiefs. Could not, like Jalen Hurts had the most comfortable pocket in the world. Okay. At the start, but when they were up, I think the game was 27-0. Okay. And he had 155 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. That's what Jalen Hurts did. That's not great. That 27-0. They didn't need him to be great. They didn't need him. They just needed him to be a 15-ish quarterback to get that done. That defense was doing Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah, they got down.
If Daniel Jones,
you think Danny Dimes for real? Danny Dimes would have messed that up, man.
They literally their defense scored more points in all the way up to the third quarter than the Chiefs did. So, and their offense did. That defense scored 14 points, I think, actually. They scored more. They scored enough to win that game for them. So they didn't even, literally, you just needed a guy to not throw more than 2 interceptions. You could have thrown 2 interceptions that game and still would have won. You didn't need a quarterback to play great or anything like that to get it. That's why it frustrates me that he got this Super Bowl by default, by the MVP by default, because he didn't have to do any. That throw that people credit to, where it was 27-0, and then he put the game away with that over the top. The pocket was clean as F. He had nobody around him. Devontae Adams was wide open on that deep throw.
Yeah.
It just needed to not be Jimmy G. And that's not
And that's
something.
exactly what I was saying. Jimmy G had it. You know,
And that's not.
You
A
got to
ball.
get it done in the moment. You got to get it
But
done.
it was
I think everybody's
27.
capable, but when you're dealing with Patrick Mahomes, I done seen it time and time again. You've got to bury him, and a lot of them don't bury him. He'll come back and get you.
The
And
difference.
they did it.
The difference with that throw, though, compared to the Jimmy G throw, the Jimmy G throw had to be clutch. It was a big deal. He needed to hit that open guy. If Jalen Hurts doesn't make that throw, they still win the game. It is 27-0 in the third quarter. They would have to have the defense. The only reason why they scored 22 points is because they put in their backups in the fourth quarter because the game was over. Like, they didn't need Jalen Hurts to make that throw. They just needed a guy. That's all they needed. That defense was doing all the work. They needed a guy to throw, just take care of the ball and doesn't throw more than 2 interceptions in that game. You have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley in the backfield. You have Dallas Goedert. You have all these weapons with that protection. You didn't need him. So it's just weird to me that like that throw he made, but it's just like, would they have lost if he threw an interception on that play? No, they would have won.
They put it away. You got to put it away.
That game was over.
It's some game management, and I know it's a pejorative term, but it's game management to getting the win. And
that's why I said 15.
That's
why I said 15 quarterbacks.
You just make it. If it could have been done, Lamar would have done it. Josh Allen would have done it. All these other greats all those who Mahomes vanquishes in the AFC, all those good quarterbacks who Mahomes has ended their season, with the exception of Joe Burrow, they get stuck some kind of way. But that man went on out and did it. The team did it.
And against Patrick Mahomes, the defense did it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Look, the defense held him to 0 points into the third quarter, and Jalen Hurts only had 155 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. That's something Lamar Jackson could do. That is something Josh Allen could do. So if Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, all of them had that defensive performance against Patrick Mahomes, they win that game.
I think it's 30 quarterbacks who would have won that game, but he did it though.
There's only one, and that's what I meant earlier, where it's like if you win a Super Bowl, you get this reputation where you can say this. And the thing, this is actually kind of funny here, where I would take Jalen Hurts almost over Justin Herbert. And obviously, people call me a Jalen Hurts hater, and I can see why, honestly. But I truly believe this. So, like, I'm trying to stand on business, and it's just hard when everyone's like, he's a top 10. I'm like, he's not.
It's cool. Talk your ish. Defend yourself. Defend the argument, and you're coming with tangible arguments to say he's not all that. But I'm just taking the aforementioned.
He has the ability. Like, I'm not saying like he'll forever be in this jail to me, Jalen Hurts will, but it's just that I'm waiting for that game. I'm waiting for him to be a reason why they win playoff games. Like, I'm waiting for him to be that guy on some level. I'm waiting for him to be, all the chips. Because last year the year where the chips were looking bad, everything was looking bad. I think it was they won 11 games, right? Everyone's like, oh, he's winning games though. He's not playing that great. They lost 5 straight games. They lost to the Giants. They lost to the Cardinals. They lost in the playoffs against the Bucs when Jalen Hurts was the one that needed to step up and make it happen. They couldn't do it. He was the reason why they were losing games. He wasn't becoming a reason why they were winning games against the Giants, against the Cardinals. That's who Jalen Hurts is. When you needed him to be the guy, he wasn't it. But if you just need him to be that game manager and not fuck it up, excuse my language, he could do that. I'll give him credit for that. That's a top 10 to top 15 kind of type guy.
And
Justin,
I think I defend him so much because one of my very first, it wasn't a short, yeah, it was a short, was the similarities, 29 similarities between him and Brock Purdy. It's 29 similar things. And the same way he gets pushed back in Philly is the same way Brock gets pushed back in San Francisco. They make the exact same arguments. They say this, they say that. So I tell you, just to show Tarrerdome isn't biased, I'm crazy about both of them, and they are very, very similar. They both were in the Big 12. They both went to the Big 12 championship. They both were recruited by Alabama. Both got dads the same. They both they just do a lot of stuff the same, and they take the same argument. So he's endeared to me a bit. Not that I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. If Spongy is on here, I am not, but I do like that young man a great deal.
And I'm not gonna knock you for it. And I see where people are coming from when they like a guy like that, when he's winning games like that. I get that, like being part of the team that wins games. I get it. But it's just that the difference between Brock and what Jalen does, statistically, Brock does he's better as a passer than Jalen Hurts is, 110%.
Throws with more anticipation.
And that's what a quarterback does. He throws better. Everything is statistically, QBR, passer rating, air yards per attempt, all of that, he's better than Jalen Hurts at that. And on top of that, Purdy, unlike Hurts, Purdy is the reason why you win playoff. Against the Packers, against the Lions, he was the reason. When CMC and everyone else couldn't step up, he ran with his legs when he had to, and he threw the balls perfectly when he had to. He was clutch. So it's just that's what puts Purdy above Hurts. Where if you put Purdy on that Eagles team, they win that game too. You put Baker Mayfield on that team, they win that game too.
Yeah.
The one joke I want to put here real quick, and I'm also serious at the same time. The one quarterback that everyone puts in this top 10 list right now, there's one quarterback that I think maybe would have lost in that Super Bowl, and that is Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert is a liability in the playoffs because
you don't think Justin Herbert could have won that Super Bowl?
No, actually, believe it or not, he's a great regular season guy. But the reason why, it's more credit to Hurts because that means Ferrari-looking guy.
It is there's a top 10 guy that can mess it up.
But Herbert in the playoffs is atrocious. He's the reason. Well, I think. Okay, I could be wrong. Wasn't the Chargers up 27-0?
27. And they
lost that game to the Jags.
That's the signature moment that I remember about Justin Herbert.
And he threw. So yeah, literally the Super Bowl is 27-0. Jalen Hurts throws that ball, and bam, they win the game. 27-0. Justin Herbert's balls in his hands. They lose the game.
They're going to lose that game.
So there's one quarterback in this top 10 that I don't know how you put him above Jalen Hurts when he's that playoff game against the Texans. Was the Texans last year? He threw. There was all but one interception, and out of the 4 that he threw was his fault. He did way too much, more than he should have done. So it's just that's the one thing I disagree with. If you're going to make a list, putting Herbert above Jalen Hurts is kind of bullshit because Herbert in the playoffs loses you games. He will find a way for you to lose that game. If it's 27-0 in the Super Bowl and it's third quarter, he will find a way to have Patrick Mahomes come back and win that game. So if you think that I'm a Jalen Hurts if you think Herbert hater, I'm a Justin Herbert's more hater. Okay, trust me. I do not
more hater for Herbert than you do.
Because there's something I respect about. There's things I respect about Jalen Hurts. He will not become a reason why you lose games. Right? Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes that's what it takes. But
And that's what happened.
Not everybody has that. You know, Sam Darnold had a really good regular season last year, but he got to the playoffs.
100% the reason they lost, dude. He was terrible.
And that's a plethora of great. It's either them or Cincinnati who have the best receiving core collectively. There may be better receivers on different teams here or there. I don't think not much more than Justin Jefferson, but collectively with that receiving core that the Minnesota Vikings have, I have to say they're either one or two in the National Football League in terms of receivers 1, 2, and 3. Only rival being Cincinnati 1, 2, and 3 to me. But Sam found a way. And he out of there now. What's that? And we're gonna be facing him. And speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, we will be facing him 2 times a year. Let me go ahead and hit my transition sound. Let me see. And now we get to the final part of the show. We're gonna do the GOATs of the AFC East.
Probably the easiest one.
This is going to be pretty simple. We're going to end on time. We're going to be below 2 hours on this one. Wolfie, where do you care to start? We're going to go clockwise, counterclockwise, up and down, tic-tac.
Let's just start with the Bills.
We'll start with the Buffalo Bills. GOAT of the Buffalo Bills. And in the chat, y'all drop, when you think Buffalo Bills, who's the greatest player for the Buffalo Bills that embodies the Buffalo-ness that you think of? Go all the way back in history, all the way back in time, or right now. Wolfie, what you got?
All right, so in my research, and so there's it's kind of hard actually. You think this would be kind of easy. O.J. Simpson's a good one, but he also that's a good option. I think there, Ellison, but. Considering what he did, I don't know if he's the GOAT.
You might not want that to be
I don't know if you want him to be your GOAT.
Not the greatest ambassador, but
so a lot of people are saying Jim Kelly here. I understand that. I really kind of struggled here because it's like there's a fan favorite, there's mine, and then there's the accolades guy. Yeah, there's O.J. Simpson, but I'm sorry, I have to remove him from that.
Okay.
So it's between 3 guys. So I'm not really trying not to cheat here. This is the hardest one. Jim Kelly was the bona fide guy. Like he bodies it. He lives and breathes Buffalo. He loves it. Went to 4 straight Super Bowls. I know he lost them, but still, he's regarded as one of the greatest leaders in football. Like people absolutely love what he did there. He's only been a first-team All-Pro 1 time, to be fair, and it was in a league with Joe Montana, Dan Marino, all these other great quarterbacks. I get that. 5-time Pro Bowler, but he's never won an MVP or anything like that. So, but from what I've researched, Josh Allen, according to fans, absolutely love him and actually declare him. Fans, from what I've researched, think he's the greatest Buffalo Bill, even though he's never been to a Super Bowl. But he does have an MVP. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, 2nd-team All-Pro. He's never won a first-team All-Pro yet. It's a little early, but and the MVP part is the one where it really kind of stands out the most. Then there's the accolade guy, Bruce Smith. This dude has 8 first-team All-Pros, 11 Pro Bowls, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and 2-time All-Decade Team in the 80s and 90s. So there is the classic guy in Jim Kelly. There's the now guy bias of Josh Allen, and then there's the statistic accolade guy in Bruce Smith. Now, who do I say is the GOAT of them all? Yeah. It's got to be Jim Kelly. And I want to give shout out to Bruce Smith because I saw that and I was like, holy shit, that guy's great. That dude's a phenomenal pass rusher. But in terms of what, like the culture wise, and what it's kind of like with Eli Manning in the sense where, like I told him that, like, he may not have all these, crazy accolades, but in the clutch and what he signified for the Giants, he was like the face of it. And that's why he was second to Lawrence Taylor to me. Jim Kelly, almost the same thing. He's known culturally and just the face of that franchise. If you name Jim Kelly, you think of the Buffalo Bills. It's like if you say Buffalo Bills, first name that comes up to me is Jim Kelly. He's a, like I said, he has all the accolades, and he is a leader. He's known as this great leader. So culturally wise, he was a great guy. So I'm gonna end the quarterback.
And he's from the U.
There's another you guy. It seems like a lot of you guys. So I'm going to say Jim Kelly, but I had to mention Bruce Smith out there, Josh Allen. If Josh Allen wins their first Super Bowl, he's going to be the face. If Josh Allen can win some first team All Pros and a couple more MVPs, he'd be that guy. But it's just too early for me to say Josh Allen. But so Jim Kelly's my guy, and Bruce Smith is my close second.
I will first start off, and this isn't popular, but when he was with the Buffalo Bills when I was a kid, Orenthal James Simpson was isn't. You know how kids say now, and it's fashionable to say, Randy Moss made his name a verb. When you catch the ball over somebody, we say, "Oh, he mossed them. He was mossing them. He mossed them." Orange Juice Simpson. We used to say when you were running real good and you were shifting and you were just sandlotting or whatever, you was out there juicing. You was juicing. The connotation done changed a great deal, but O.J. Simpson, man, a native of San Francisco himself, he played for us for a minute too, and man, he went to USC, could run that rock. Went to junior college, then to USC, and I think he was a 10 flat guy in the 100 yards. He was really, really fast, and he ushered in the era uh, of endorsements for the modern athlete, particularly that of the African American athlete. Before them, people weren't getting endorsements and everything. Everybody owes a little something to. Every time you put those Nikes on that endorse McDonald's, Hertz, uh, Afro Sheen, Ultra Sheen, and Ultra Sheen Cosmetics, whatever, and an athlete gets a little bit of that money, it's from O.J. Simpson. Obviously, since June of 1994, we probably think of something else, but I got to shout rest in peace to O.J. Simpson, wherever you are. um, Jim Kelly is the dude, man. Jim Kelly is incredible. From the U, tough as nails. He was recruited as a linebacker to come to uh, University of Miami. He was just that tough, and man, he took no quarters and gave none. He's as bad as they come. You had to drag Jim Kelly out of the game. He tore his knee up against the Cowboys the first year in '92, but he had been there against. He just faced the just terrible timing, man. The juggernaut that was the New York Giants, who the head coach was Bill Parcells. The defensive coordinator was Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has been in the Hall of Fame since 1991 because he served up the you heard of the nickel defense, you heard of a dime defense. Bill Belichick ran a quarter. It won't but two down linemen, LT, and a boatload of defensive backs, and they dared Buffalo to run that ball. He said, for us to win, Thurman Thomas has got to have close to 200 yards. We will dare them to run the ball and eat up clock, and then we will come back in the counter. His game plan is in Canton in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And then the Redskins came and got them when they were the Redskins back then, and then the Cowboys got them twice. They just they ran up on buzzsaws, man. It just won't nothing he could do to get that over the hump. So shout out to him. But from Chesapeake, Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, at 6'4", 262 pounds, went to Virginia Tech.
So with
Bruce Smith is the all-time sack leader. Everybody who has ever sacked the quarterback, the number one guy in all of history since they've been recording sacks, is Bruce Smith. He stands on 200. Everybody else is in second place. Virginia is the state of defense. It has Charles Haley, Cam Chancellor, Lawrence Taylor, Bruce Smith. The list goes on and on. Kenny Easley. We play defense out here, and for Bruce Smith to be the all-time leading sack leader at 200. You mentioned the Pro Bowls. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Pro Bowls, 9 first team All Pros, 2 second team All Pros, a defensive player of the year, votes for MVP. 4 votes for MVP back in 1990. He was just tearing it up, y'all. He was tearing it up. 2 defensive players of the year. Yeah, I think I got 2 too. And he's Mr. Buffalo Bill to me. That's my guy, Bruce Smith.
Yeah, I totally respect that. Like the accolades alone and stuff like that, you know. And I mean, off the field, I haven't heard anything off the field, and he represents the Bills well, you know, and that matters to me. And I know Ellison is saying O.J. Simpson, but that matters because it's not just about accolades, like who the player was. Because if that's the case, then like Steelers wise, Antonio Brown would probably be one of the greatest Steeler of all time. If you want to talk about talent, if you want to talk about how great a player was,
AB was tearing it up back in the day, man. When he was in the man,
not to give a spoiler, but that's not going to be my Steeler of all time. That's not going to be my greatest Steeler of all time.
I can see that.
there's more to it than just how great a player was. It's just it's really about what that person represents for that team as well. Bruce Smith represents 200 sacks. He represents a guy who has the record for. If I'm a Bills fan, I'm like, we got Bruce Smith, man, in our history. Okay, he's the face of the Bills when it comes to defensive ends. Okay, not named Lawrence Taylor. Okay, so in the AFC, you could say in the AFC,
yeah, man, AFC, you own it.
Yeah. So you can. There's so many things you could say face wise, and culturally, what was he culturally, and is there shame upon this dude's name? Where if you brought him up, you're like, yeah, but this dude murdered a guy. Okay, so you can't. There's certain things that's why Jim. If that was the case, then Jim Kelly would not be the greatest of all time, because it's just what he represents for the world of Buffalo.
He's Buffalo. He's what you he's what you think of, and he's tough. And you know, prayers out for Jim Kelly, man. He been through a great deal with the he had cancer in his jaw, I think, and just the family. He's got 5 brothers, and all of them look like they can play in the NFL. He just you know that's just lifelong toughness, and that's Buffalo. You get the accolades. You've been to the mountaintop. You just went wide right, but you keep on fighting every day. You get up and you fight some more. That's what Buffalo is to me. And I know, you know, we got people who just say, they're just a bunch of losers. They never won a Super Bowl.
Tough place to play, man.
It is tough. Hey, that's why it's Buffalo. That thing next to Niagara Falls. And, man, they would get that home field advantage, Wolfie. And it's the reason they kept on going to those Super Bowls. They get you up there in January. Do you know how sorry a dolphin look in that white with all that white snow?
Yeah.
Your receivers are sitting there with their hands, running routes with their hands folded. It's you
100%.
get that home field advantage. So shout out to
You really do.
both
And
choices.
Ellison says, I don't know why he does this, man. He always cuts out great players out of the top 10. He's got obsession with cutting players out of the top 10. 8, you're telling me on Antonio Brown, if he wasn't a head case and continued to play as good as he was for 10 plus years, you're saying that he would not even reach top 10 Steeler all time? Stop it. If he was not a head case,
yeah, he was on
dude,
a pace. He was on a burning pace. He was on
I love
Jerry Rice number pace at
he
one time.
was.
He was, and the Steelers, man, they done had some receivers. When we go to them Steelers, brother, it's gonna be hard. Coming up in my day, John Stallworth and Lynn Swan were who you acted like when you went outside. Well, you tell it you, Shane W. You might have liked the Cowboys, you might have liked the Steelers, you might have liked the Dolphins or whatever. When you went out wide, I'm Lynn Swan. I'm Lynn Swan. Lynn Swan was the truth. John Stallworth was the truth. Them 70 Steelers, man. Hey, even if you didn't like them, you had to love them. And Antonio Brown was on pace to be just that. He had that pocket of about 5 years, man. 5 years, maybe 4 years.
He was uncoverable, dude. He was always open. It's almost like when you drop back. I don't know what Ben's thinking, man. You drop back, just look for AB. He's open somewhere, like for sure. If it's man, he's going to get open no matter what. If it's a go route, he's gonna get open. It doesn't matter what the play is. He's gonna get open.
Yeah, man.
And to say he's not that if he were to continue down the pace that he was going, he would be considered a top 10 Steeler for sure.
Definitely that. He's not, but
right now.
But definitely that, man. Definitely. You remember that time he played us? Antonio Brown came out there to Levi's. Man, he's still scoring.
He's still scoring.
He's still
dude. And I do not, and you know me, I don't like the Steelers. So like, if I have an opportunity to hate on someone, I will.
Yeah, he can't stand the Steelers.
Man was.
But AB was
that good, dude.
Crazy as a bed bug.
Probably the greatest. No, I guess that goes to Tom Brady because he was a 6th-round pick, right? So like second greatest 6th-round pick ever was Antonio Brown. Like he was so good. Like that's crazy to me, dude. That if he continued to do what he did for that 5-year stretch before he lost his mind, oh my word, dude. All right, but let's go.
Somebody had to get him, boy. He was it. All right, let's go clockwise. We're going to the New England Patriots. I'll take it first. 89,214 yards. 10 conference championships, 7 Super Bowls, 667 touchdowns, 12 regular season records, 12 postseason records, 11 Super Bowl records, picked 199th in 2000, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. No need to go any further.
Without a doubt. Isn't that 11 conference championships? Because if he has 11 records, 11 Super Bowl records, doesn't he have 11 conference championships?
He did it on the one. He did it. He tried to get 12 because he wanted you to remember that number. That's how those guys do on numbers. Kobe and Jordan do the same thing.
Oh, I know, but you said he had 11.
11 Super Bowl records. I think one got knocked off some kind of way. And he's got the dubious record of the only quarterback to throw for over 500 yards and still lose a Super Bowl. So
yes, the Eagles,
the Eagles got him that time. Yeah, he was playing.
That was back when I was supporting the Eagles, by the way. I was always going for the Eagles big time in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, Nick Foles.
He went off. He played really great. It's Tom Brady. I mean, he's the greatest player of all time. You know, it's the easiest one in the world, man. You know, everyone regrets passing him up in the draft and stuff like that. And some people like, oh, we could have got him instead of Giovanni
Carmazzi, an alpaca farmer.
31 other teams also made that mistake. So don't feel too bad. It's not like it's not like he was the second pick in the draft and you passed on him like that. It's not like something like that, where you had an opportunity at round 30, pick 30 or whatever.
But see, what hurt though, Wolfie, is we picked a quarterback. Those are the ones that hurt. If you were another team and you didn't pick a quarterback that year, you had your quarterback, good to go. All right, it's 2000, so and so is pretty good. We're not drafting a quarterback. But when you draft a quarterback and he's from San Mateo, California, and he was in your backyard and his dad had season tickets and you still went with Giovanni Carmazzi, man, fire yourself.
Well, I mean, we didn't draft. There's plenty of players that we passed on there from their 49ers fans, and they're in their backyard. But there's plenty of players that we passed on. I think we passed on. We passed on Josh Allen. He was a 49ers fan growing up. I'm pretty sure we passed on him. I could be wrong, but
he didn't grow up in San Mateo, right down the street. He wasn't in the building during the catch.
I think he wasn't there and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, it's just
it hurt. It hurt double.
It doesn't hurt me, but if it hurts you, I can see why.
It kills
the back, but I think
Mooch,
that
it was Mooch. Yeah, it was Mooch. Go fire yourself, Mooch. You're out of here. I think McCarthy was there. It was a couple people there. They, y'all owe me some. Man, y'all owe me 10. At least 6 Super Bowls. I'll say we might have lost one of them, but man, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
So is there a guy that's second place to you from the Patriots then?
Oof. I ain't even think about it.
I haven't thought about it either, but
let's see. I think second would be
you almost want to say Randy Moss. He's only there for
but he was there so quick. They had a really good tight end back in the day named Russ Francis. Russ Francis played for New England and us. Russ Francis won 2 Super Bowls with us, but he was a really, really great Patriot.
Wasn't Rodney Harrison? That's a good one, right?
He won a couple of Super Bowls there. He started out at San Diego though. When they were in San Diego, they the LA Chargers now. Willie McGinnis. Willie McGinnis is a pick, yeah. And they had a receiver back in the day named Stanley the Steamer Morgan. This is when they went to the Super Bowl and played. They ran up on the bus up, man. They had to play the 85 Bears, and playing the 85 Bears. And that defense, I still know that starting defense by heart, man. I know William the Refrigerator Perry, Richard Dent, Steve McMichael, Singletary, Wilbur Marshall. You had that going. What's that? Wilbur Marshall and what's the tall? Otis Wilson, Leslie Frazier, Gary Fensick, Dave Dewerson. What's the other one? What's his name? Williams, Fred Williams. Was Leslie Frazier, Dewerson. In any event, they beat them Patriots like they stole something. The Patriots had a good team, but man, it won't nothing like watching those 85 Bears go to town. You watched football. Usually on football, they'll put the marquee up saying, "Oh, we got a big game. It's gonna be Dan Marino versus Jim Kelly. It's gonna be Drew Bledsoe versus a shootout against Steve Young." Now in the 85, bro, you tuned in to see the 85 Bear defense go to work, and they dismantled people. It was the average was 12 points a game against the 85 Bears. and then they made a music video. They made that halfway through, and they just was, man, it was devastation. That 46 defense, everybody in a hole. We don't care. With 0 Thunder Blitz, everybody coming, and you pick out what it is. It was just all about pressure. Mike Singletary. Oh man, they won't nothing like it, man. Won't nothing like it. Won't nothing like it. Ain't been since.
So I had it while you're talking or while you're going off about the 85 Bears, which you know a lot about them, man. You're prepped.
Oh.
It's like you got that on lock, man.
That is defense. I was in high school then, and that's the defense we modeled ourselves after them, and the 86 Giants. Everybody was just tough. It was tough. The Eagles was laying it down, man. They had Jerome Brown, the aforementioned Minister of Defense, Reggie White, Seth Joyner. They had a game called the Body Bag Game on a Monday night against the Redskins. And Wolfie, they knocked, I think 12 people got injured. The Redskins had to put in a running back named Mitchell because the quarterbacks got knocked out. They didn't have any emergency quarterbacks or nothing. Football was different back then, man. It took grown men back then.
So I had to look. I was like, okay, since we can't really name greatest Patriot of all time, not named Tom Brady. Apparently, according to this, the greatest New England Patriot of all time, not named Tom, is widely considered to be offensive guard John Hanna.
John Hanna was
13-year career.
Yeah.
9 Pro Bowl selections, 7 first-team All-Pros, and was named 70s and 80s All-Decade teams. So I can
John
see
Hanna
that.
was great. John Hanna was great.
It's probably John Hanna there. If not, outside of John Hanna, it's got to be Gronk. And Gronkowski's up there too. Yes. But one honorable mention that I feel like we got to throw out there, Adam Vinatieri. Adam Vinatieri kicker could be talked about there. Probably the greatest
honorable mention. Yeah, the greatest kicker. Might have been the greatest clutch kicker ever. Yeah, Adam Vinatieri I liked it. My compliments, my friend. That was good.
Thanks, Google, for that. Because I was like, wait, I'm sorry. I mean,
yeah, I did my research, Tarrerdome, and are we forgetting Adam Vinatieri? That would have been. I wouldn't have copped to that, man.
I just have Tom Brady written down.
Yeah.
So I just have Tom Brady but I had to check to see who was the greatest other. Because I was like, okay, that's too easy. There's something else.
Yeah, usually we do honorable mentions, Mount Rushmore, and then we go into it. It won't no need to talk, man. Tom
shockingly
is it.
Enough, I would probably put Adam Vinatieri in that 3 or 4 spot. John Hanna at 2. But like, it's shocking. It's so weird seeing a kicker though as like a greatest player of any team of all time. He was clutch.
He made man. In the snow, it started off on that tuck rule game. It was a drive. Those snowflakes looked like the kind you used to cut out when you were in 5th grade. You know, the snowflakes were falling, big, huge snowflakes. And I can remember Gruden had on his visor, you know, because he had hair, but he had the visor on it, and the visor had about 2 inches of snow on it. And Adam Vinatieri kicked that thing through. First, he had to make the kick to get it to overtime. Then it went to overtime, and then he drove that thing, man. He hit like a 2-iron in to make it there. Jerry G, what's up, man? Shout out my man Rod Cali. What up, man? We doing the AFC goats. Goats.
If Justin Tucker didn't, be a predator, okay, he probably would have been the greatest kicker of all time. But Adam Vinatieri's arguably, even without that, would probably be the greatest kicker of all time because of the clutchness and winning the Super Bowls and
yes,
things of that nature.
Yes, sir. Clutch.
That's why you get declared possibly one of the greatest players of that team. But yeah, Tom Brady for sure is Tom Brady. So we got Tom Brady now. Yeah.
All right, who we got up next? You want to go Jets or
We do
Dolphins?
Jets. We do Jets.
All right, let's do the
These next
Jets.
two are easy,
Who
but
is the GOAT Jet?
and I didn't do any research on this because it's so easy to me. And there might be a player that I'm like, oh wait, I probably should have said that guy, but it's Joe Namath.
It's Joe Willie Namath.
Like, I mean, he's at the games. He's still like he's dying right now, and still representing the Jets. And he loves the Jets. He lives and breathes the Jets. He goes to the games.
He was New York Broadway Joe.
Broadway Joe. It's Joe Namath.
The guarantee, the number one finger waving off in slow motion as they win. And the AFL, man, the AFL was they said it just wasn't even going to be close. They were favored. The NFL team, the Baltimore Colts at the time, were favored by, I think it was 3 touchdowns. I think it's either 17 or 21, one of the two. But it just wasn't even supposed to be close, man.
I heard that there was
Joe Willie Ball. Go ahead.
I heard that there was a Joe Namath blackmailed the quarterback. It was the quarterback.
Earl Morrall started, and they had Johnny Unitas on that team.
Yeah,
he didn't start at that time. Yeah, Johnny U was out there.
So I've heard that he blackmailed like somebody to because he made the guarantee. Like he knew it, even though like their team they were gonna be like a huge thing. So they're thinking like there was some sort of either the game was rigged or just some blackmail going on there. And I'm like, it's possible. I mean, back then you could if you knew something about somebody, you'd be like, all right, well, you know. So there's rumors like that I heard. But
and old Joe, man, let me keep it real. A player know a player. I'm a retired player, ladies and gentlemen, married now. Joe Willie had them all, bro. Joe Namath exercised his rights back in the day. Joe was that dude.
And
a single man in New York. Yeah,
he partied and he did his thing and stuff. So a lot of people are just kind of like, it's just the nonchalantness and the lack of care for the Super Bowl, and he was just like, "We're gonna win it." Blah, don't even work the guarantee and all that. So there's like these rumors of it, you know. But if that's just all rumor and assumption, so you can't really go off that. You have to go off what he did, and he did win the Super Bowl, even though he didn't play very well in that Super Bowl. Like he was, but he's, you know, it's kind of like the whole Jalen Hurts thing where he didn't lose him the game. So. And he's the face of that franchise, like I said, culturally wise. Too.
Yeah, man. He had an aura that, you know, he just did. He played for us for a little bit back in the 70s, maybe about 75, 76. Both him and OJ played for the 49ers at one time, but he is Mr. Jet, man. That was their only Super Bowl, and they still. You think it's bad for us to go back to 95? They have to go back to 69, 70. That's how the Jet fans. I don't know any Jet fans besides Greeny on ESPN.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's a good show.
You know, like, okay.
I can't even think of. Without doing research, I'll do a Google search right now of it. But on the top of my head, I can't think of another Jet that I would be like face franchise or accolade wise. Like he was this great. I can't. Darrelle Revis was.
Darrelle Revis.
Well, not a Patriot. Was it Darrelle Revis? No, he wasn't.
Revis played for him,
but he didn't start. He started off with the Jets. So Darrelle Revis, I guess.
Yeah, Revis. That'd be the way to go. Or. Did Curtis Martin play for him?
I think so, yeah.
Curtis was more of a Patriot. That's another one that we could throw in the Patriot camp. I think he played as many years as the Patriots as he did the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. And they had some good offensive linemen. Joe Klecko and Mark Gastineau Back in the day, everybody had a nickname back in the day. It was all about defense there, Wolfie. You know what their nickname was in New York in the 80s? The New York Sack Exchange.
Huh.
Mark Gastineau was the one who ushered in a sack dance after you sacked the quarterback. Now you see everybody doing, the body roll and and doing that and all that. Mark Gastineau started all that. And he was in jail. Yeah.
All right, so I had to Google it to find out, and you would be right about Curtis Martin. Apparently, he's widely considered the second greatest Jet of all time. 10,302 rushing yards, holds the top 3 single season rushing yards, 5-time Pro Bowler. So they don't, man, God, if you're a Jets fan, that's rough. Don Maynard, they got Don Maynard, franchise leader with 7 yards. Don Maynard. Joe Klecko and Darrell Revis.
Joe Klecko, Joe Klecko was nice with it, man. Joe Klecko, he'd been on a couple of movies like Any Which Way You Can or what else? Smoking the Bandit 2, I think Joe Klecko. He was huge. He's kind of guy that can wear bib overalls, no shirt underneath, man, scare the hell out you. He was huge.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, I could see that too. And so those 4 guys, but apparently Curtis Martin is second to Joe Namath, according to what I just Googled right now.
Class act. His yards snuck up on me when he got into the Hall of Fame. It just, I was like, really, But that's what gives me hope about first ballot Frank Gore. He amassed a lot of yardage, and it won't but 10,000, right? You said first career 10,000 yards.
Yeah,
Frank's got 16,000, man.
It's not going to be he's not going to. There's too many good players in this next upcoming.
He's eligible in 27. I got bets on the line. Frank Gore, first ballot.
Oh, you think first ballot?
Yeah, you can't deny 16,000 yards. You just can't.
He's gonna get snubbed. Then I'm telling you right now, he's gonna get snubbed. I promise you. I guarantee it.
Now, in the history of this game, there have only been 3 rushers that have got 16,000 yards or more.
Yeah, but Frank Gore does not get the respect from.
He gonna get it. I'm telling you, he's gonna get it.
Oh, Frank Gore is my top 3 favorite 49er of all time.
And from I
love him a lot.
Frank Gore going in.
He's a jersey I would buy.
Frank Gore going in.
He's my favorite not current, but you know what I mean, like more up to date 49er of all time would be Frank Gore. And I guess George Kittle was probably passing him now, but Frank Gore, man, is up there.
Frank Gore going in, man. First ballot, Frank. That's my guy. Frank, if you listening, you know how we go. It's all about the you. You had two blown ACLs, and you came out here and put up 16,000 yards in the 105-year history of the National Football League. There have only been 3 men to do it. Yourself, Walter Payton, and Emmitt Smith. I tell you what I know.
So I had to Google it, and I think he's eligible this year.
This year coming up? I thought it was 27.
27 is because he would not make it with these guys in here because it's Ben Roethlisberger, Rob Gronkowski, Adrian Peterson, Richard Sherman. Antonio Brown's not making it because of this situation. He ruined that for himself. So I think does that say Tom Brady? I think Tom Brady is also 27. Yeah, I think Tom Brady's also 27 too.
You know Tom going in. Hey, they got room. Hey, it's go. You bring 8 up in there, and no one is more deserving for a first ballot than those names that you.
All right.
And you talk to the guy who went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and saw Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith go in the same year. Sometimes this is for Hall of Famers now. This is for great people. And then it was some other humdingers too. I think Ricky Jackson was there. Who else was there? I couldn't even remember that. I was just about jury.
So
Harry Carson, maybe? No, it won't Harry Carson. Look 2010 Hall of Fame class.
so the as you look that up, the Hall of Fame class for 2026, Frank Gore's in it.
Okay.
It's Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, LaShawn McCoy, Frank Gore, Jason Witten, Marquise Pouncey, Geno Atkins, Stephon Gostkowski, Philip Rivers, Greg Olson, Todd Gurley, Julian Edelman, Thomas Davis, Mike Upati, Des Bryant, and David DeCastro.
And you're gonna tell me that Frank Gore not gonna get in because Shady McCoy will bump him out?
But also I okay, I think these are first timers, right? So these are first time Hall of Famers, possibly. So you also got to think about the players that missed last year or the year before and things of that nature.
It be people missing. Roger Craig should have been in 2000. no, he played 2002. Roger Craig should have been in 2007. They passed people up. Randy Moss didn't go in this. No, Randy Moss was first ballot. T.O. didn't go in first ballot. Chris Carter. It'd be some great ones, but when you have amassed 16,000 yards, the stats speak for itself, Wolfie. That it ain't nobody. Think of this list: Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Frank Gore.
I understand the yards accolades.
That's
here.
the list.
But it's not. It's kind of like the Brock Purdy thing, where it's like I put him in the top. I put him at 6, but the rest of the league is not going to put him there. And I think the Frank Gore, the rest of the league is not going to put him as first ballot. I want him to be. I want to clarify this. I want you to be right.
Okay.
But I'm talking about prediction wise. I don't think he's going to. Okay. But if you're right, I'm super happy. Like, I want that to happen more than anything. Like he's, like I said, one of my favorite 49ers of all time. Okay, he's one of the reasons why I watched when everything was shitty for the 49ers. Okay, he's a big deal. Like he's a big
they went
deal.
in that 2010 class. It was Russ Grimm, who we kind of snubbed on the greatest Redskin / commander ever. Ricky Jackson, Dick LeBeau, Floyd Little, John Randall, Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith. And you got to give it to guys who the story of the NFL cannot be told without this dude. And somebody amassed 16,000 yards from scrimmage running the rock. The story can't be told without him. Every player who ever was injured and came back and did nothing but produce has some Frank Gore in him. That's my guy.
Sure. But I hope you're right, man. I want him to be, and I think I know Drew Brees is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Definitely.
Sure.
Too many yards, too many records.
Yeah,
he's first ballot.
But let's see. We'll see. So,
all right, who we got
next?
last?
Dolphins.
Last up, the Miami Dolphins. Who is the GOAT Dolphin? It's been some great ones. He's up there.
It's Dan Marino for sure. But
Dan Marino all day long. Yes.
To never win a Super Bowl and still be considered in a top 5 greatest quarterbacks of all time. Again, I didn't even have to do research on this, so I don't even know his accolades. So I hate to rob people of knowing what he's done, but it's just Dan Marino. He's so good, man. Like he makes everyone better. He's super accurate. Joe Montana thinks he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's just so like when you watch his highlights and watch him play, man, he throws the most beautiful ball. He throws the most like he's it's Dan Marino, man. It's so sad that he never won a Super Bowl. He is the number one on the list of guys to never win a Super Bowl. He's number one of guys who should have won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino, dude, just Dan Marino. I can't say more. Just
9-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, MVP of the league, 1984, which was his second year. Wolfie, I want you to imagine this. It's become a pass-happy league, and quarterbacks can pass for a lot of yards. And in 2018, it was Patrick Mahomes' second year. He passed for 5,000 yards. And he had the curly hair and everything. And he lost the championship game to Tom Brady, because Tom is the only one that can knock him out postseason back in the day, twice. But it was a big feat for him to get 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, right? Wolfie, Dan Marino did that same thing in 1984. He had the big curly hair, and he was throwing that rock. 48 touchdowns, 5,084 yards in a season. Only 17 interceptions. He was something incredible. And I got to really be honest, in that Super Bowl, it was a showdown between him and Joe Montana. Joe Montana didn't put up numbers like that. Nobody put up numbers like that. This is 84. This is, you can hit the quarterback, you can hit the receiver, you can drag the receiver, you can face mask him off the line of scrimmage if you want to. Mark Duper and Mark Clayton, they called themselves the Marx Brothers, and it was an aerial circus. Dan Marino was absolutely incredible. I was nervous, boy. My knees was nervous.
I bet.
That Super Bowl, and it was actually a home game for us. They played it at Stanford Stadium, which was just outside of San Francisco. And we put the clamps on them, man. We put the clamps on them. It was a incredible defensive display, along with the great Roger Craig. I think Roger Craig's still scoring in that. He should have really been the MVP. But Dan Marino was really that dude. And scientists or quarterback guru, quarterback coaches, the guys you go to get better. His name is Tom House. I've been studying Tom House since 2009 when I found out that's Tom Brady's throwing coach. He shows Dan Marino in a 3D image and how he releases the ball. He is the template of how Drew Brees and Tom Brady tried to imitate Dan Marino throwing that ball. That's how I can tell if a quarterback's got it. I will look at his release, how he holds his hand over his left foot, and how he gets the elbow slightly taller or just as tall as his shoulder, and the final flick of the wrist. That came from Dan Marino. It efficient, coming out before you even saw it, and it whistled. They said it whistled as it went through the air.
Yeah.
He could throw you open, baby. He could throw you open. I am crazy about one Dan Marino. You listed the accolades. He's that. We can kick it around to say who'd be the second greatest Dolphin.
I have no idea. Who would be the second greatest Dolphin? I can't. That's another Google situation. But it's the Dan Marino, man. Like if he were to play off what you said earlier about today, what he was doing last year. Was doing in the 80s, what he could do today, he would probably be behind Patrick Mahomes in, when it comes, if Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and then you got Joe Burrow, I'm certain he would be number 2 today in today's game for sure. Like, because people want.
If it was today, if Dan Marino could play today, he might throw for 7,000 yards.
For sure, dude.
He might throw for 7,000 games. That's how incredible Dan Marino and the quality of defense was so hard and different. Pause. You gotta understand. You could have taken Tyreek Hill and dogged him into the ground. There was no defenseless receivers. There were no, you touched the quarterback. That's a penalty. It won't. That this dude was doing it with malicious people like Steve Atwater playing safety, Dave Durson was in the 90s. Man, you had them all back there. Bill Bates would knock Barry Wilburn. These guys, Kenny Easley. These dudes won't playing back there, man. They took pleasure in you cutting across the middle. And Dan Marino was throwing in there and throwing it well. If you told Dan Marino, they can't touch that receiver and you can't hit him after he catch it, and you can't even hit him in the head. Man, Dan Marino look at y'all like you crazy. It's like letting Michael Jordan go without hand checking. Michael Jordan would average really 45 points a game now. In this non-defensive
gotta throw Michael Jordan.
Stop and foul. Man, Michael Jordan would drive y'all crazy.
So the greatest Dolphin all-time not named Dan Marino, I'm actually shocked. You got this. You got to think of it. I can't believe I didn't think of it, but you have to know this. Actually.
It will be
on top of your head. You got this, man. Because honestly, when I looked at his name, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And it's definitely this guy, without a doubt. It's probably gonna piss you off if you can't think of him, because it's.
I'm thinking Paul Warfield, Dan, Jim Zonka. I'm thinking, come on.
All right, you ready for it?
Give me the years played. Just give me that as a hint.
Years played was he played in the 70s. I'll tell you that.
Okay, that's got to be Larry Zonka. Or Brian or Bob Greasy?
Bob Greasy. It's Bob Greasy.
Yeah, Brian Greasy's dad.
2-time Super Bowl champion.
Perfect team. Perfect season.
Perfect season. That's kind of crazy to think about. Like, Dan Marino is so good that he eclipsed the guy who gave him 2 Super Bowls like that. That's kind of crazy to actually kind of think. That's how good you have to be. That's wild. It wasn't like a Nick Foles thing where he's a backup, came and did his thing. No, he was just great. See, I didn't think of that Bob Greasy. So
Bob Greasy.
Yeah, so I would say Bob Greasy would definitely. I agree. I would say Bob Greasy for sure would be the second guy. So that's definitely the list. So
Jason Taylor was bad too. They said it in the chat. Jason Taylor, he's a Hall of Famer as well. Jason Taylor. Who's y'all Dolphin? They had a dude named Jensen. Oh, Don Shula is the greatest Dolphin. We excluded coaches, because if we went coaches, it would have been done. Joe Gibbs, Chuck Noll, Bill Walsh,
there a lot more.
Bill Belichick, Bill
Belichick.
Yeah, man.
I'm taking Brady over Belichick. Are you taking Belichick over Brady? Because Brady did it without Belichick. Belichick cannot do it without Brady.
Belichick was already doing it as a DC before he even got to New England.
Yeah, but there's a difference between DC and head coach, though. Those two different positions.
Belichick coached Lawrence Taylor
for the Giants.
Belichick was Yeah,
But good.
I guess if you just isolated to the Patriots, they wanted to, Belichick. Here's the thing, and this is
I'm
why
not
Tom.
saying he's not great, but I would take Brady. I'm just saying I'd
But
take Brady.
but this is how important Bill Belichick is to Tom Brady. What people miss, it's like a drug dealer. Bill Belichick gave Tom Brady the game. And what I mean by this, y'all can go back and look at film and look at do your job. Every week, Bill Belichick and Tom would talk. And Bill Belichick's mind, and I've talked to people who talk to him, he knows every defensive rule there is. He's going to bump with motion. He's coming out here. Don't trust the safeties or don't trust the corners. Trust the safe. He gave Tom Brady with those hour-long, 2-hour-long meetings every hint to what they're going to do against him. Tom was playing chess while everybody else was playing checkers because he already knew your rules. He already knew everything that a defense could do, would do, because Bill thought this stuff up back in '86. That's the importance of why Bill gets the respect he does from Tom Brady. Tom Brady will never say, "Yeah, it was me," and Bill will never say it was all me. It's a
Yeah,
mutual
they
respect there.
share that. Yeah, they share that success together and stuff.
Yeah.
So for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Ready?
that was a great show. We're at 2:32. We're getting better, Wolfie. I gotta chop this up and I'll have a little more for everybody. In case you missed it. And I will be back. When am I back? Thursday at 10. Try to do a quick show. I'm gonna have to call in. I'm gonna have the friends drop in and say hey, and we'll pick it back up next Thursday, me and you. And let's hope we don't have any news. It'll just be, hey, everybody's at practice. The rookies looking good. The rookies actually reported today, and they're not gonna do too much. They just gonna, it's just meetings right now or just getting checked in, acclimated for the first couple of days. The veterans will come back in on the 22nd, which will be on the 20th. I still got June up here. And speaking of dates, ladies and gentlemen, shout Ellison Burley out. He had a birthday. I think it was Sunday. My mama told me, Ellison, y'all wish my cousin a happy birthday. We will be back, Wolfie, on the 24th. So the veterans will report on the 22nd. We'll be here on the 24th, me and you, and we'll have some stuff to talk about. That project you were saying, let's cut the roster down. I feel a little bit better after they report and I hear some things.
That's the thing. That's what something I'll end up. I'll probably do on my own, one of my own lives, so like that, as content or whatever. But I want to say this real quick. Breaking news, sort of.
Okay.
Not really breaking news, but sort of. Apparently, several teams have reportedly inquired about 49ers wide receiver Juan Jennings. However, the 49ers said they have no desire in trading Jennings.
Well, there it is. We're going to pony up some money here. Be listening for the news. There's going to be probably a new little stocking stuffer under the mattress or under the mantle for one Juwan Jen. Oh, my alibi fire. Last week we were talking about the Cowboys and I said Bob Lilly got a Super Bowl MVP, even though they lost. It was not Bob Lilly. It was Chuck Howley. Chuck Howley got that MVP in a losing effort against the Baltimore Colts back in '70. Forgive me, I was one. No, I might not have been born yet, but my recollection escapes me sometimes. Chuck Howley, Super Bowl MVP on a losing team.
That's actually interesting. I think it's the only one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only one. And that was one of the first Super Bowls, real or not first. That was one of the that's might have been the first AFC NFC Super Bowl. It was usually AFL NFL, but that was a AFC NFC.
So to go back to Juwan Jennings thing, according to Juwan Jennings, representatives have indicated he's seeking a salary comparable to what other receivers earn, potentially in the $12 to $15 million a year range. If that's the case, pay the man.
Pay the man.
If that's the demand from his representatives, from what they're saying, then why is then definitely 49ers are not trading him, and he's definitely gonna get signed. I'm
you get that checkbook out right here.
Yeah, 15 million for this dude. Yeah,
that's all you need. You sure you don't want a little bit more? Hey, I tell you what, here's $3 million on me. That's your little signing bonus. We'll take care of that.
And never bring it up again.
Never. Yeah,
right. It's like here's an extra $3 million just in good faith. Okay,
a sweetener.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we make that.
So I just thought that was important news. How much he's demanding. Apparently, some people said 20 million, but he's not asking 20 million. He's asking for 12 to 15. So that's good. That's good news.
Yeah,
that's really good news.
Very good news. That's very good news. Yeah, you spreading it well.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, Wolfie?
No. We could talk about the. Well, I guess this will probably be over then, but just get out of the way now. 30 out of 32 teams have not signed a second round pick. We had to talk about that, but that's okay. We can. Well,
real quick, the deal with that is a guarantee is supposed to be guaranteed. It's supposed to be what you're supposed to get. And the way the language is, I know for the Cincinnati Bengals and maybe the 30 other people, the language they're trying to use is, yeah, it's guaranteed money unless you do something detrimental off the field or you get hurt. And they can cut it that season, but the way it was afterwards, for the years afterwards, you still get your guaranteed money. They're trying to say, no, not only are we cutting it this year, we're cutting it next year and the year after that, or the life of the contract. So that's a sticky situation.
Yeah, that's Shamar Stewart's, because he was a first round pick. That's the Shamar Stewart thing that I understand. I get that part. But I'm saying right now, 30 out of 32 second round picks have not signed around the league. There's only two. Yeah. One from the Browns, and Jaden Higgins signed a fully. So the Houston Texans signed Jaden Higgins to a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
And now every other second round pick, including Alex Collins, wants a fully guaranteed contract now.
Yes.
And so now there's this whole, where is it going to, there's, I'm all for players getting paid, but, if that's the case, then why stop at second round pick? Why not a third round pick then?
It's coming.
Round pick, a fifth round pick. Then that means everyone's just going to get fully guaranteed contracts. And one thing I want to say about this is that some people don't realize is if second round picks now become fully guaranteed, the value of a second round pick goes down, because not everyone's going to want to pay fully guaranteed contracts. If they were to get a second round, if they had 3 second round picks and a first round pick, they have to pay 3 second rounders fully guaranteed contracts now. And I don't think teams are going to want to do that. They're not going to want that many second round picks anymore, because they're not going to want to commit that much money to less of a guarantee that a player is going to hit. Because a lotto ticket, first round lotto ticket, is a higher chance of succeeding. So that's why you pay fully guaranteed money. While second round pick, third round pick, fourth round, as you go down the line, there's a less chance you hit on that. So it's kind of like it's going to lose its value.
It's sticky, but once you make that precedent and you pay so-and-so fully guaranteed, well, now I'm a second round. I want my fully guaranteed. So
Texans went full Jaguars by changing the market.
That's why
that's what they did.
That's why they're so mad at the Cleveland Browns for fully guaranteeing Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
That's why that's so in the stratosphere, and everybody having that. you know, they done blackballed the Cleveland Browns, man. They can't stand what's his name? Haslam. Haslam. Yeah, you really messed us up here, buddy.
For sure. So, yeah. All
right. Everybody, thank y'all all for stopping in. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Me and the Wolf Dog, man. God bless each and every one of you. And we walk by faith and not by sight in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank y'all.